being divided, you versus me thinking, walking down the street and thinking everyone's a threat. It also represents their thoughts, emotions, and actions not being aligned, not being unified. Their thought, emotion, action are scattered, and they're not creating things consciously. It also represents many, many different personalities in our minds, the divided pers- uh, personas and personalities in our mind that we have. And the I represents the unification of that. It's about unifying our mind pretty much to not have all of these different characters and sides to ourselves and actually being a whole mind, uh, becoming conscious of uh, the unconscious aspects of ourselves and transmuting them. And when we become conscious of something, we then hold the power to change it. If we have an unconscious part of ourselves, we never truly realize it. We don't change it, and that unconscious thing can actually seek to control our thoughts, emotions, and actions from that place of the unconscious mind. So ultimately, that's what darkness to light represents. Darkness symbolizing things we are unaware of, because when something is in dark, you cannot see it. Uh, Most people are in darkness of their imagination. They don't realize the power of their imagination. They're unconscious of it. They don't use it. And to become conscious of that is to put it into light. Shedding light on something reveals something. If I shine a torch on an object, it's going to reveal it. It's the truth. So it's about becoming conscious of the aspects of ourselves that we may be unconscious of and actually using them and transforming them as tools. And again, we have the I with light, with white and black. This is duality. Uh, you are also the witness consciousness, as previously mentioned, and the witness consciousness thinks in duality. We think we are the hater and the lover. We are the deceiver and the truther. The truth is that consciousness thinks within duality, and in within the mind beyond the witness there is duality in thought. But in truth, you are not either. You are neither the positive or negative thought. You are the witness of it. There's a great saying in the Gospel of John, and I can't remember exactly the words, but it goes something along the lines of lift the wood, I am there. Lift the stone, I am there. It's basically saying that everything is the I am, everything is the same consciousness. No matter where you go in the universe, you're talking to self, you're talking to the same thing, you're seeing the same thing. It is the same consciousness that is everywhere. So consciousness thinks within duality, and it is the light and the dark, and we have the ability to transform between them. And some people think that, darkness is all evil. Darkness is not inherently evil. Darkness is not inherently evil. There are dark aspects of the world that help you actually progress into the light. Without the darkness, consciousness can't move into the light, into knowingness. Without bad, there is no evil. They are needed. Both of them are needed. So, in order to understand the light, you have to understand darkness. And there are some forces of darkness in the universe that are purposely there to cause certain things to then push you and activate the good or the light. Uh, some Gnostic texts talk about how there are very powerful beings that purposely uh, descend themselves into darkness on purpose to make things happen in certain people's lives so it actually pushes them towards the light, towards the good. So, this is ultimately what the whole allegory of Satan is. Satan was created by God, and Satan is necessary, which is symbolic of darkness. Is symbolic of evil, the evil forces of the universe, because the universe is simply just one force of consciousness, and that one force can express itself in good and evil. The power of the mind can be used to kill, or the power of the mind can be used to create amazing things. So there is only one force in the universe, symbolized by the one eye, the one force of consciousness, and that one force can be used for light and dark, which is the checkered board. Uh, It's also symbolic of the checkered board being on the ground, symbolizing the earth, which is base awareness, duality thinking, base consciousness, stuck in division consciousness. And the one eye symbolizes unification of the mind, a balanced internal perception. We're rising from the ground to the sky, symbolizing from heavy to the light, from darkness to light. The eye is also symbolizing perception, what we perceive. And this is ultimately the end goal of all occult and esoteric research, is to gain more light, to gain a higher perception of the self, to gain a higher eye, a higher perception. That's why the eye is always raised above, symbolizing you're chasing the eye, you're chasing a higher perception of yourself and reality and the universe. It also reveals the teachings of the eye that is always watching you. There is an eye always watching you, and then that eye is the laws that governs consciousness. Consciousness, or your mind, is governed by certain laws that your mind cannot escape, such as cause and effect, vibration, mentalism, correspondence, rhythm, the 8 universal principles that pretty much crystallize consciousness into a reality. Your mind cannot escape the law of cause and effect. That force is too powerful to escape. Therefore, this is the eye watching you. This is the eye that has governance over you. It is the laws. But then again, on a negative context of the eye can then become a symbol of surveillance. Hence why certain organizations and companies in the world use the symbol of the eye, symbolizing surveillance, gaining, manipulation and surveillance over humanity and certain things and data. So there's light and dark of every symbol. It's just depending on how you use it. But ultimately, that is the teachings of the checkered board and the eye in the sky. If you wish to learn more about yourself, because that is the only thing that matters in the world, learning about yourself. The only thing you take with you after death is the knowledge that you hold in your mind. You can't take your car, you can't take your possessions, you can't take your money. The only thing you take is your consciousness, your level of mastery, and the things you know. With that being said, I'll see you inside Ethereal University if you decide to join, and I'll see you in the next video.
bookofwisdom.com. Visit today.
What is good, people? How are we all doing? Today we're going to be talking about the different planes of existence, the occult side of the world, the things they don't teach you in school. And of course, you can only find that on this channel, so welcome. So you need to understand is that your consciousness moves through these different planes of existence, these different states of consciousness, which make up all of you. Okay? They are all interlocked planes. They are all interpenetrated into each other. They are all one. They melt into the plane above and below. You see, each plane is a product of each plane. As above, so below. Now, the higher you go, the more fluid, the more dreamy, the less dense it becomes. The lower you go, the more denser it becomes, the more solid it becomes. The lowest plane is the physical plane, which you are obviously aware of. You are inside of the physical plane now. But while you are in this inside of this physical plane, you are indeed inside of all these other bodies which you have not awakened yet. You have to awaken these different bodies. You have these bodies. Okay? It's like a ripple effect. And the center is the most dense, the most solid. This is Earth, heart, the heart of the ripple. And the lower you, the further you go out from the center, the more dreamy, the less fluid, the more fluid, the more less dense it gets until you're one with the all. You see? And this is what it's like. This is what this system is. It's like a ripple effect. Now, let's jump straight into the planes. First, you have the physical plane, made out of 4 elements. 5 elements. The ether is the mother of the elements. It's the womb of the elements. It's the 5th element. And it gives birth to the 4 other elements. 4 is stability. Tables have 4 legs, and this is why the ether gives birth to 4, because it's the foundation of the physical world. Fire, earth, water, air. They are not pure. Each one of the elements melts into the other one. For example, earth and water both share cold. Water and air both share wet. You see, they compose of each other. They melt, they mold into each other based off the vibrational state of the ether. That's what it is. The 4 elements are the vibrational states of the ether. Okay? So you have the 4 physical elements making this, physical world. It's the lowest world. It's the world of effect. This world, whatever you see, whatever you experience, it's the effect. You can't change anything by manipulating this world. You got to manipulate the higher worlds to affect this world, you see? As above, so below. This is the lowest plane. It has 3-dimensional. It's the 3rd dimension. Space, height, and thickness. That's all it is. Front, backwards, upwards. You see, it's 3-dimensional. We cannot perceive the hidden side, which is the interior of this existence. We cannot perceive the interior from our exterior view. We are looking into this world. Okay? This is the exterior view. We can't see what's inside of that. That's the 4th dimension, which is the next one. It's the most gross and dense plane. 4 states of matter, the most slowest vibrational molecules exist in this plane. Above this plane, you have the ether. Okay? The word ether and either are the same thing, because either connects 2 scenarios in languages. I either support Manchester United or Liverpool. Either is connecting them 2 scenarios. The ether is doing the exact same, as you can see here on the planes of existence. It connects the astral world, which is very important, to the physical world. It's connecting these 2 worlds. So it's the ether. It's the ether. The ether is pure potential. Energy flows through the ether. It is pure energy, pure potential. Okay? The physical body is an exact copy of the etheric counterpart body. So every physical object has an etheric energy double. It's like a blueprint of that object. Every single object has an energy double, and that's the etheric double. Okay? The etheric body determines the shape of our physical body through its lines of force. All through life, it rebuilds and restores the physical body. Physical problems show up first in the etheric body, because as above, so below. You manipulate the higher planes, it will manipulate this plane. And this is why sorcery works. Contact with astral plane entities. We'll get into that a bit later. So, the reason why we can't see this plane, this energy world, which is all around us, which we are inside of right now as we speak, is that the molecules that compose it are further apart than those of the physical plane, making it invisible to the 2 eyes. That we can't perceive it. Our eyes cannot physically suck in that sort of information, and our brain cannot decode it. This is why, they brainwash us with all these programs to keep us asleep, to keep these other bodies we have asleep, so we don't find out about these other bodies. And is to make you believe that everything's just a material. Only the material world exists. They don't want you to know is that everything that you see is a result of something you cannot see. As above, so below. There are realities within this reality. This is what I'm breaking down now, these different planes, on how this reality works. So your etheric double is your energy body. You can see here the physical, etheric, astral. Astral is your spirit. The ether is a part of the physical plane. It's like just above the physical plane, but it's still part. But then the astral plane is completely separate. It's another plane, but they're all interlocked. Don't think they're apart. They're all interlocked. They're all one. They all melt into each other. The chakras that we have are inside of our etheric body. They are our sense of organs which tune us to the fourth dimension. These 7 chakras connect us to the astral world, the fourth dimension. Okay? They are points for the flow of energy from the universe / 7 planets, because the 7 chakras are your 7 planets, and the 7 planets are connected to the astral world. They are feeding these 7 centers in our body. They connect us to the universe, to our etheric counterpart, and then to us, supplying the physical body. Because the energy comes from above. As above, so below. These 7 centers, these 7 etheric chakras, are being supplied with energy from the universe, the 7 planets, the solar system. Then it supplies the physical body. You see? So, the ether is very important. And this is, that the ancients understood the science of the ether, and they could, harness free electricity from it, because it's all around us. The ether is all around us. And this is what they were doing. They were harnessing free energy using the ether. The astral plane, the fourth dimension, very important plane. Very, very important. We've all been there. Every single one of you has been there. Okay? The fourth dimension is unseen of what we see. It's the interior of the exterior that we see. We see the third dimension, but we cannot see beyond what's making this third dimension. This is the fourth dimension. Okay? It's the dream world. This is where you go when you dream. Okay? This is where you go when you dream. It's the place of disembodied spirits or ghosts, entities, whatever you want to call them. When you hear ringing in your ears, that is not tinnitus. That is an entity around you. Okay? That is an entity around you. The fourth dimension is where thought forms exist. Mental images. Thought forms as in what you see in your mind when you think of an image, because the mind is the highest plane of existence. Mind is the highest plane of existence. And it manipulates all of the planes below. So it goes the mental plane, then the astral plane. So the thought is in the mind, the mental plane. That just the thought alone, no image, but then the form depiction, the thought form exists. It manifests in the astral plane as a sort of image, an entity, a living conscious being. So this is why thoughts are things. You see, thought forms exist within the fourth dimension. So when you imagine something, when you are, for example, right now, look into your hand and imagine there's an apple in your hand. If you can see that, you are seeing into this fourth dimension. You can only see into this fourth dimension using the mind's eye, not the 2 eyes, the mind's eye. When you shut off the 2 eyes into darkness, the third eye opens. The mind's eye is open. And you can see, this is astral travel. You got to work on astral travel. And you will see this astral plane, this fourth dimension. And there are 3 different sections to this astral plane. Higher, middle, or lower. So yes, there is a kind of a heaven and hell. And a middle, mid-God. Heaven being the higher vibrational entities manifesting higher vibrational thought forms existing there. The lower vibrational thought forms existing in the astral plane. But these thought forms are beings. You can create these beings. They're called elementals. Okay? If you entertain specific thoughts for long enough, this will plant a seed and it will grow. If you so for example, you have a bad feeling or whatever, what's a good example? unforgiving someone, you keep that energy inside of you for long enough, it will manifest in the fourth dimension. You entertain that thought long enough, it will manifest. And it will create an etheric body, and it will be an entity which will harm you. It will feed off you this low vibrational energy. Your mind is so powerful. It creates thought forms, and these thought forms can take consciousness, can take bodies, etheric bodies. Now, that's why it's very important that you master your mind, master your thought patterns. So this fourth dimension is the astral world. So when you have a nightmare, this is the lower astral plane. You're in the lower astral plane. Whilst this physical body rests at night, your consciousness, while you awaken this other body, your consciousness goes inside of this other body, whilst the physical body lays asleep. You see? So it's all inside of you. This way you need to understand. You just haven't awakened these bodies yet. You can awaken them. You just got to awaken them. Okay? The next is the mental plane. This is the mind, the source, pure cause, pure motion, the most less dense, the most fluid. No form. There's no form to the mind. Astral plane is the first plane where a form takes existence, pretty much. The mental world has no form. It's pure mind, pure intelligence. Thoughts alone exist here without any images or manifestation. The most fluid, the most dreamy, the most causal plane. All of the rest take the effects of this plane. That's why it's mind over matter. Your thoughts they create vibrations. Each vibration is vibrating on a specific frequency, which creates mental images, creates effects down here on this physical plane. This is why it's so important to master your mind. Master what you think. Master your mind. It's the hardest thing to master. You could conquer the world, but it's probably harder to conquer your own mind than to conquer the whole world. I can promise you that, because the mind can play tricks on you. You got to listen to that inner guide within you that will constantly manifest the good things. So anyways, people, hope you learned a lot from this. Please work on trying to activate these other bodies. I will maybe do another video on trying to activate these bodies if you wish. Please comment down below if you would like to see that. And have an amazing day. Please like, subscribe, comment down below any video ideas you want me to do, any information you want me to spit. Thank you all. Have an amazing day.
bookofwisdom.com. Visit today.
So depression doesn't actually exist, and in this video I'm going to show you how depression is actually a choice. And I'm going to give you some solutions on how to deal with it. And this is probably going to change your life forever just by doing this alone. Okay, so the first thing you need to understand about depression is that it exists in your conscious mind. It exists in your thinking mind. So what is inside your thinking mind? You have your body, your name, your reputation, your trauma, your memories, your family, your worries, your interests, your bills, your passion, dislikes, goals, right? Most people identify their lives with this. They identify their lives with their thinking mind. They think they're their name, their job, their reputation, their memories. But this is not who you actually are. Who you actually are is the observer of that. What happens if you stop thinking? What is left? You're left with unconditioned consciousness. You're left with the self, which is what we refer to as I. We are the consciousness, not the thinking consciousness. You are not these labels. You are not your thoughts. You are not your job, your name, your reputation. Okay? And the reason why I'm telling you this is because it's very important, is that we are something beyond this body, beyond this name, beyond our thoughts. We are the consciousness. So depression exists inside of the thinking mind.
the conscious mind. Okay? So if you want to get rid of depression, you must learn how to escape the thinking mind. And not only just escape, but that's step one. In meditation, you do meditations, right? We sit still and we have to learn how to control the mind and turn off the thoughts. And when we turn off the thoughts, depression goes out the window because there's no thought present in your mental field of consciousness to be depressed. Okay? You must understand, who is the one suffering from the negative thoughts? Who is the one suffering? Your mind is not suffering because the mind is producing the thoughts. Your body's not suffering from the negative thoughts. You are suffering. And who is you? You are a soul. You are that feeling. You are that person beyond the thoughts, beyond the feelings, beyond that. You are the one experiencing. You are that. Meditation gives us the ability to turn off the thinking mind. This allows us to escape our thoughts. Okay? And it gives us, over a long period of time after meditation, you'll be able to turn this switch. And this switch will be able to turn off your thoughts. And by doing this, we will be able to control our conscious mind directly by the hand. So when you notice yourself gaining them negative thoughts, we can then turn off the switch of turning off the conscious mind and rising to our authentic self and knowing the thoughts are just illusions. Now, let me tell you something that's very powerful. Most of your thoughts are coming from beliefs. Most of your feelings are coming from beliefs. So if you have a feeling of lack, this is coming from a belief that you don't have much. If you are feeling alone, this is coming from a belief that you are alone. So what we must do is restructure ourselves. We must restructure the subconscious mind. And we do this in many different ways. We can do this with meditation. We can do this with visualization, visualizing our desired reality as if we are living it. We can do this with affirmation. Now, a lot of people think, oh, I'm trying to speak something into existence with affirmation. No, you're not using vibration to try and change reality with what a lot of these new age people will teach you. Vibration, your words will not have much an impact on reality. That's the truth. But what they do have an impact on is reprogramming and recrafting and refining your mind. If you repeat, I am wealthy all day long, your subconscious mind, that word will be lingering inside your subconscious and you will start to mold that into your conscious. You'll start to be consciously thinking about this. Most of your thoughts are coming from your subconscious. So if you want to get rid of depression, you got to figure out the trigger. What are you depressed about? What are you feeling? What are the beliefs that are making you feeling and thinking this way? And that's what you must restructure. You must restructure your subconscious mind through visualization, meditation, and affirmation. You do these all the time. You do these every single day, and you will slowly, if not surely, restructure your subconscious mind. While by doing the practice of meditation, you'll gain the off switch as well. Sometimes depression comes from not living in your authentic self. You're not doing the things that your soul is telling you to do. We all know what we should be doing at all times. I don't care what you have on. We all know we should be doing something. We all know that we have there's a higher aspect of our mind that tells us, oh, we need to be doing this, but I'm actually sat here on my phone. Oh, I shouldn't be eating this, but I'm doing it anyway. There's always that higher voice. And that is the voice that has to be connected to. And when that voice, when your body's not acting out the voice of the soul, then the soul becomes sadder, and suffers more and more and more. There has to be a connection between the soul, the mind, and the body. They have to work in unity. Okay? So I hope this video helps with depression, with whatever you're going through mentally.
bookofwisdom.com. Visit today.
Hello, Seeker. Welcome to Revival of Symbolism. a channel devoted to the language of esoteric symbolism, guiding you to discover yourself and expand your consciousness into deeper realms of thought. I'm Harry B. Joseph, also known as Revival of Wisdom, and today we're going to be discussing this particular piece of Freemasonic artwork, and in the context of force and form. This is a very important ideology to understand about life, your reality, and ultimately to gain your personal power. So if you want to gain your personal power, you have to understand force and form, which is one of the most basic understandings and teachings within the occult schools of thought. So if we look at this piece of artwork that we have here on this Freemasonic drawing or painting, whichever it is, we see in this context force and form. Now, there is a lot going on in this piece of symbolism. There's so much more than just force and form. However, in this video, we're just going to be breaking down the force and form aspects so you can gain an understanding. Here at the very top, we have light rays. This represents force. Here below, you have the physical manifested plane, form, force and form. All creation is force and form. It is the interplay of force and form. Force is the invisible energy that moves, and form is the pattern that contains and directs that movement. Force without form is chaos. Form without force is lifeless. So without any force, there would be no movement or manifestation. Without form, there would just be chaotic forces within the universe. So force and form are the opposites in duality, force and form, okay? So without any force, which is your spiritual life force, your consciousness, which is force, your body wouldn't even exist, because your body is the formation of the spiritual forces. Your life is a creation of your forces, such as thought, emotion, imagination, desire. We're going to be breaking that down in detail so you can use these forces in your life, okay? So we have light rays here. This is a force. This is light emanations coming down from above into the world of form. We have to understand, no physical action on the physical plane, there is no force. All force takes place within the astral and etheric realm. So that's what we must understand. Force takes place in a higher dimension. What you see in the material realm is the formation of that force. So every movement in the material is made manifest through the invisible forces. When you take an action, there is a reason why you are moving the body. And for me, for example, I've written the new book of symbolism, and it's out November 17th. The force that driven me to build that, to take the actions to build that, is a force, and that is an emotion or a desire. So that we all have a desire, which is the force that moves us. And that desire is not a chemical reaction within your nervous system. That desire is, in essence, a spiritual force that takes place within the astral plane. So we have the mental plane. Below you have the astral plane. Below that you have the etheric plane. And then below that you have the physical plane. All creation begins in the mental plane, what we think about. But then if we have a desire about a specific thought, we have a specific emotion towards a specific thought, such as, I don't know, making money. We all have a desire to make money, right? That desire then focuses down the mind, because you can think any thoughts you wish, but if you do not have a desire or an emotion towards it, the mind will not be narrowed down to one specific thought. So then that thought has an emotion or desire behind it, which then manifests itself. The thought descends into an astral form. The thought takes the body of an astral desire or imagination. That imagination and desire feeds the human heart. That human heart feeds the force through the physical brain, through the nervous system, and then allows the body to take physical actions. So each one of us has forces. So it's very, very important that these forces, such as desires, are not random and they are controlled. Because if you desire many different things, you are uncontrolled, you will have many issues in your life. You will have, if you have uncontrolled desires of lust, uncontrolled desires of vanity, uncontrolled desires of low pleasurable things of the flesh, your desire will not be controlled. Therefore, your force is scattered. So in order to gain self-mastery and to get what you want out of your reality, you have to control your desires, your force. So you have force and form. This is why down here you have people taking physical actions. You have, people running around taking action. And up here you have the forces. So it is the astral forces that is in constant rotation and interplay with the physical material realm, force and form. Force originates in the higher planes of consciousness and descends through the mental and astral into the physical. Within the mental plane, force takes the shape of thought. Thought is the first outline of form, the archetype that gives structure to creative currents. When one conceives an idea, the pure spiritual energy flowing through the consciousness becomes clothed in mental matter. This mental form is the mold through which all subsequent energies must pass. It defines the direction of movement and determines the quality of the outcome. Within the astral plane, the same force becomes emotion, desire, and vitality. Here, the mental pattern receives life. The astral body, being composed of the substance of feeling and magnetism, fills the thought form with motion and color. Force in the astral plane is dynamic, fluid, and responsive to rhythms of desire. If desire is pure and unified, it directs energy faithfully into the form conceived by the mind. If desire is scattered or conflicted, the astral force distorts the form, producing confused results in the physical world, confused actions, chaotic actions, if you do not have your desires and your heart under control and your emotions under control. Thus, the quality of one's emotional life determines how effectively forces passes through the pattern of thought. So the emotional quality of life, of your life, is determining your actions, because we all take action on what we care about, on the force that is driving us. So we must unify our heart with the higher mind, with higher thought, thoughts that are not selfish, thoughts that are not egotistical. In the mental plane, there are three subplanes. We have higher mental plane, lower, middle mental plane, and lower mental plane. Higher mental plane is higher thought. This is what people call the higher mind. A lot of people say the higher mind, but they don't know truly what it is. You know, a lot of spiritual people will just throw these words around. The higher mind is simply the mind that exists within the higher mental plane where higher thoughts take place. Thoughts that are guided with love, that are guided with selfishness, without being selfless, you know, thinking with, you know, without being egotistical. If you, for example, if you think, how can I make money? How can I gain? How can I do all this stuff? And you're thinking how to make money for yourself, for personal gain. That's a selfish thought, and that will manifest in the lower mental plane. If you want to become more of a powerful mind and gain your personal power, you want to think in a different way to penetrate the higher mental plane, because the lower mental plane, most minds in the collective consciousness operate in the lower mental plane, because that most people think unconsciously. Therefore, their minds are not trained to think in the higher mental plane. So most people dwell in the lower mental plane. This is where all the lower thoughts are. There's not very good ideas because the collective consciousness is there. Once you start to raise your mind, you then start to learn to think differently. Instead of thinking, how can I make money? How can I gain? How can I, you know, get this? Think differently. Think on a collective scale to penetrate the higher mental plane. Think, how can I benefit the world? How can I do something that's going to benefit people? Because money will come as a side effect of that. That's just one example. So when you shift your mindset to use the higher mental plane and train your mind, you're gaining willpower. You're also penetrating the higher mental plane where better thoughts are. You receive better thoughts, better guidance through thought forms. That's a whole other lecture I can make. Thought forms, which are basically demons and spirit guides, what people call. They're just thought forms. So we truly do live in a mental world, and everything is force and form, symbolized by the light and the material reality. The individual who understands this relationship between force and form begins to work consciously with the descent of energy through the different planes of consciousness: mental, astral, etheric, physical. When you hold a clear mental image, you create the form. You fill that image with emotion and desire, you generate the force. When you act upon that energy, you complete the circuit of creation. The process is simple yet exact. Force always seeks form, and form always requires force to live. If the mind is undisciplined and the forms it creates are vague, force dissipates into confusion. Energy without direction creates turmoil in the astral body, manifesting as restlessness, anxiety, or inconsistency. If the emotions are intense but the form is weak, the force becomes misdirected, often leading to chaos in one's actions. Conversely, if the mind creates a strong form but the emotions are dull or lifeless, the form remains unanimated, a structure without vitality. True creation requires the balance and union of a defined mental pattern and vibrant astral current. So it's about aligning your mental and emotional states, symbolized by these two pillars here. Well, they are the extremes. So The moon would be your emotional state. The sun would represent your intellectual, or the masculine and feminine. However, they are the extremes. So this middle pillar represents the balancing of those. So when we balance our mental and emotional state, we become conscious co-creators using force and form. It's a very important lecture, and I know this is a quite complex and advanced lecture, but this is what this channel is about, Revival of Symbolism. It's about more advanced teachings. But hopefully you can get your head around this. There's a few books out there you can definitely read. I can't think off the top of my mind, but you can read this stuff up. It's great information. It'll definitely help you in your life. Force and form. And if you haven't already, join the waiting list. I'll leave a link in the description for the Book of Symbolism, November 17th on revivalofwisdom.com. If you wish to be notified, I'll send you an email. I just want to say thank you for your support. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and share to a friend. I'll see you in the next one.
Absolutely. Let's refine that into your signature deep and esoteric.
bookofwisdom.com. Visit today.
In this video, we're going to be talking about the evolution of consciousness. You are born human, however, you possess consciousness, which is the awareness behind your being, the awareness behind your thoughts, the experiencer behind your five senses, the experiencer, the observer behind your thought, emotions, and senses. You are an eye, an invisible consciousness looking through a lens, which is your body. Your body produces this physical world that you experience. Your brain produces this world. Your brain and body is a technological computer. However, you are an infinite, ever-expanding consciousness behind this physical body. And there is an evolution of consciousness, a cosmic journey of expansion. And this is why we see so much pyramid symbolism in the occult and esoteric world, and especially within Freemasonry. Because the pyramid represents climbing, an evolution, a raising state of consciousness, a journey. Steps symbolize a journey upwards. This is the raising and the evolution of consciousness, our inner world. The transmutation of our inner selves, of our souls and consciousness and our minds. So when we see this pyramid, we're seeing a evolution, a way up to source consciousness. And the eye in the pyramid represents your source consciousness. It represents illumination. It represents divine guidance through this evolution of consciousness. This is why we see the ladder. Consciousness is ever expanding on an infinite journey of evolution. Each individual is a part of this cosmic process, contributing towards the ongoing expansion of both mind and awareness. As we evolve, we collectively explore deeper levels of existence, expanding the boundaries of thought and consciousness. The mind has the ability to expand infinitely into new realms of thought, into new dimensions of mind. The mind cannot be filled up. It is not a physical substance. The body can be filled up because it is a physical thing, but you cannot fill the mind. Therefore, the mind is constantly expanding, ever expanding into new fields of thought. So what we see in Freemasonry, the ladder, is again a journey, an elevation of consciousness. When we are born with an infant consciousness, and as we gain older, we gain an adult consciousness. Our inner world, our inner mind, and our emotional intellect changes and evolves. We are significantly different from when we were very young as an infant. It's because our consciousness evolutes, it changes, it alters like water. So just like this evolution of your own consciousness as growing up, there is consciousness of beings existing in cycles beyond our own. And their consciousness is unimaginably different from ours. They operate on a higher level of understanding and knowing, experiencing reality in ways that transcend our current comprehension. Our minds right now cannot comprehend the highest states of consciousness. There are entities, there are beings beyond our own, existing in higher dimensions of consciousness that we cannot comprehend because they have expanded. They are on a further way up the ladder of consciousness. However, we are all on the same journey. None of us can take the same journey. There is one ultimate goal, reaching source consciousness. However, this is always ever expanding. However, we are all on a different journey. There is one truth, one source, one goal. However, there are billions in different ways of reaching it, and we are all on these different paths to source consciousness, to this ladder, this evolution of universal evolution. Okay? Their awareness is attuned to new dimensions of existence, reflecting a more advanced stage in the cosmic journey of consciousness evolution. So when you take DMT, you are shot into these higher realms of consciousness where you meet these beings who look similar to these images. They are not speaking to you physically. They don't speak to you three-dimensionally through vibration and words. They speak to you mentally. If you have done DMT, then you know this. And if you have met these beings, then you know this. You might have even met some of these types of beings on mushrooms or any psychedelic drugs. Because ultimately, when you take these mind-altering substances, it's altering your consciousness. It's merging your consciousness with the spirit of that substance. And you are essentially attuning your mind to higher dimensions of consciousness. That's why we say we're getting high when we take these substances. Therefore, when you meet these beings on DMT, you are essentially meeting beings who are attuned to higher dimensions of consciousness, and they speak to you mentally. They speak to you telepathically through thought, because the universe is mental. Everything exists within the mind. The way you are now, your physical existence, is a state of mind. Mind, thought creates matter. Spirit and matter are two opposing ways of thinking. If we have a very spiritual mind, we have an expanded mind, we are a spiritual person through the mind. However, if we have a very low state of consciousness where we think about food, sex, lust, and all physical things, then we have a physical consciousness. Matter and spirit are two opposing forces, two ways of thinking. The mind attunes itself to different levels of understanding in different dimensions. So, essentially, this is what we're looking at. The body is a vessel for the fluidic, formless consciousness, a temple that houses the essence of our awareness. While the five senses are limited to perceiving only the physical plane, the mind transcends these limitations, capable of perceiving the full scope of reality. It is through the mind that we access deeper truths beyond the material, tapping into boundless nature of existence. Physical existence is a thin band, a thin layer of reality. It's like 0.001% of reality. And your five senses are only tuned into this layer of reality. But the five senses are, by design, only allowed to perceive physicality. But the mind has the power to expand beyond this physical five-sense state. The mind has the power to expand and evolute. It is a conscious decision whether you want to take this path or not. You can stay in a three-dimensional way of thinking, or you can expand your consciousness from within. It's not an external journey. There is no God going to save you. You must save yourself. Therefore, behind every single one of these eyes is the same source consciousness. However, we are all different cells in a different journey. The organs in your body, the cells in your body are all alive. They all possess same consciousness, universal consciousness. However, we are all on a different journey of evolution. As above, so below. As the baby is in the mother's womb, when the baby becomes conscious, there is a world outside of its mother. What does it do? It presses and seeks a way out to be born in the other world outside of its mother. It is the same with your consciousness, your mind. When your mind becomes aware that there is realities beyond the immediate surroundings, it seeks a way out. And this is exactly what I'm doing to you now. I am now expanding your mind and telling you there is other ways of reality. There is other dimensions of consciousness which you can access through inner transmutation, through different ways of thinking, spiritualism, and meditating and connecting with yourself and detaching from external things. We can upgrade our consciousness. Your body is a womb. Why Jesus says you must be born again to see the kingdom of God, because you are born physically and then you must be born again spiritually, awakening your inner consciousness. So like I said, as the baby is in the womb, it's the same principle. As above, so below. You were a baby, you were in your mother's womb, and you figured out there is a world outside of your mother, so you seek to way out your mother to be born in another world. It's the same now. You must do this now. This is your spiritual evolution. This is the evolution of consciousness. It's ever expanding. When you die, this is a transition. You must learn to not fear death. This is another part of your spiritual journey. You must master death. Therefore, like I said before, the mind has limitless capacity to expand into new realms of thought, continuously exploring uncharted ideas and concepts without boundaries. The mind can ever expand. It can never be filled. It can never ever know everything. There is infinite fields of knowledge, infinite fields of thought. Your current state is just one stage on an infinite pathway. You won't remain human forever. The human experience is a crucial phase where we learn to balance polarities, master the fundamental laws of the cosmos. It is a period of growth and transformation, preparing us for the next stages in our cosmic evolution. The goal is to strive for perfection, yet the true perfection is unattainable. It's like a tunnel, and there is a light at the end of the tunnel. And as you walk through this tunnel, the light is ever moving backwards. You should forever seek to meet that light, but you will never meet that light because consciousness is ever expanding. You should strive for perfection, yet knowing that perfection is forever unattainable. The journey is endless, with each step revealing deeper layers of understanding and experience. The pursuit of growth and expansion is itself the essence of our evolution. You can find all of this knowledge in the amazing book that I have read for years. I have read this book, The Emerald Tablets of Thoth, the Atlantean, by M. Dorial, translated by M. Dorial. I'm telling you now, this book, now that I've told you this, you have some context on the book. The whole book is about evolution of consciousness. He's talking about higher dimensions beings. He's talking about how you can transcend this physical plane. It is truly the most amazing book you will probably read. One of the best spiritual texts you'll see. It's hard to understand, so you must read it over and over again. And the more your mind progresses, like for me, I read this every couple months. And the more I learn about consciousness, the more I expand my own consciousness. And every time I read this book, I pick out something new that just completely blows my mind. Because you can only understand this book to your level of consciousness, to your level of understanding. So now that I've told you all this information, go and read this book and it will absolutely blow your mind. And so will the Book of Wisdom Volume 2, which is now available. I released it the other day. I'm just going to read a page out now. This page is called Spirit and Matter. The Earth is not merely a dense, lifeless rock drifting through space. It possesses spirit, a living
cosmic, a living essence that animates its form. But what do we mean by spirit? Spirit in esoteric terms refers to the energy, the life force, animating the principles infused in matter. So essentially, what this page is talking about is how everything has spirit, consciousness within it. You are the middle, you are spirit and matter. You have the ability to expand your mind to the God self and raise above our animal instinct, our material self, and know the divine and expand. Animals cannot do this. Animals are not self-aware. Humans possess self-awareness. We can observe our consciousness. We can say, why do I exist? We can look in the mirror and know that we need growth. And this is what Anunnaki means. Anu means above. Anu was the supreme god of the sky, which is a metaphor. He represents spirit above, heaven. Anu came down to earth and married Ki, the goddess of the earth, which represents matter. It's a myth, it's an allegory. Anu married Ki and gave birth to the Anunnaki. Spirit came down and infused with matter and gave birth to the human, which is you. You are spirit infused in matter, Anu and Ki, Anunnaki. You are the Anunnaki. And this is just one of the teachings in my book. Honestly, this book is absolutely amazing. If you truly, truly want to expand your consciousness, give this book a read. And obviously, if you're inside the university, I give you this book for free. A paperback version. If you join the university, follow the steps inside of the general chat, you'll be able to download this book. Or, sorry, not download it. Order a paperback for free. All you have to do is pay for the shipping. You'll also gain amazing knowledge inside of my library, where your mind will just be overblown with the amount of esoteric books. There's over 45 rare occult books, plus you get a PDF of the Volume 1 and Human Health Guide. You get reoccurring updates where I expand on symbolism, occultism, where you will just feel absolutely amazing once you understand esotericism in yourself. You'll also learn how to create the dream reality that you want with the Manifestation Mastery course, where I teach you how your consciousness creates reality. You'll have a real lectures where I post lectures on symbolism, occultism, esotericism. There's a conscious community and live calls and Q&A where you can ask me questions and I'll answer your questions. I just want to say thank you to everyone who has joined the university. Thank you for even liking and watching this video. Any support I just appreciate every single one of you. Please, if you can, leave a comment and a like on this video and let me know any videos you want me to make in the future. And I will start uploading a lot more to the YouTube. So yeah, thank you all for tuning in today. Have an amazing day.
bookofwisdom.com. Visit today.
You are not breathing correctly. 98% of people only use a third of their lungs capacity, which is shallow breathing, which ages you, lowers your brain capacity, and also lowers your state of consciousness. So it's essential that you breathe consciously on a day-to-day basis, because this is what truly elevates your consciousness. I am going to give you the key for you to raise your consciousness just through breathing alone. Such a simple thing, but yet the most effective way for raising your state of consciousness and becoming more spiritually and mentally advanced. So tune in for this video and I'm going to show you exactly how to do it and the symbolism behind breathing. Air is more than just air. It carries electromagnetic energy. So now I'm going to give you the science behind this spiritual truth. This invisible force is what sustains all physical life, providing the life force energy essential for existence. Electromagnetism. Everything is fed off electromagnetism. Your body is an electromagnetic battery. Now, we can prove that air carries electromagnetism just by doing a simple test. a simple scientific experiment by getting liquid oxygen and pouring it between a north and south magnetic pole, two polar opposite magnets. We see that the liquid does not fall straight through it. It is sucked, it is magnetically attracted to these two opposing forces, opposing magnets. This is proof that air, liquid oxygen carries electromagnetism. When you are breathing electromagnetism, the essential life force behind all living beings. This is known as energy or prana, chi, ether, or spirit. This is all the same thing. Air is not just empty space, it is energy, it is prana, it is life force, it is spirit, it is ether, chi, prana. You are an electromagnetic being. Your consciousness is in direct correlation with your electromagnetic aura or biofield around your body. Your state of consciousness is mirrored within this field around your body. Now, your breath, when you breathe in, you're breathing electromagnetism or life force. Breath is the vital link between the physical and the spiritual, bridging the body with the soul. Through breath, we connect with both tangible world and deeper, the unseen realms of energy and consciousness. Breathing deeply and properly elevates our consciousness, enhancing the brain's functions, heightening the sensitivity of our five senses. It also brings a profound calmness to the mind, creating a state of clarity and inner peace. Like I said earlier, breathing properly is the fastest way to elevate your consciousness. It is the fastest way because breathing, when you stop breathing, what happens? You lose physical consciousness. Your body will shut down if you do not breathe in this vital electromagnetic energy in the oxygen. If your body does not get this for 5 minutes or however you can last without breathing, this makes you lose physical consciousness. Your body will not survive without this essential life force energy. Therefore, air is one of the most overlooked things. This is why we see the symbolism of Buddha having a big belly. Why does he have a big belly? Because it's symbolizing breath work, proper spiritual breath work, the certain teachings of breath work, of when you breathe in through the nose, you have to breathe in through the nose. You don't want to breathe in through the mouth because the nose acts as a filter which catches dust particles and filters out the air before it enters the lungs. The mouth does not do that. The nose is for breathing inward. We breathe in through the nose, and when we breathe in, we breathe into our belly, not our lungs. When we breathe into our belly and our belly expands outwards, we are then moving this energy down from the nose down the spinal column. And when we breathe back out, the belly goes in, which is raising the energy up the spinal column, back out through the mouth. This is the true way of breathing, because when we breathe, we are moving energy. We are moving electromagnetic energy. When we breathe in through the nose, the energy travels down the spinal column. And when we breathe out, we are raising this energy back up the spine, some of it going out the mouth, and some of it reaching the brain, activating dormant brain cells in the brain. But when we breathe, we need to make sure we are using 100% of our lungs' capacity, because the lungs is what transforms this special energy into consciousness, physical consciousness. So this is why Buddha has a big belly. It's not because he was fat. It's not because he was overweight. It's symbolism. It's symbolism of breath work. So try this. Do this for 2 minutes while you watch this video. Breathe in through the mouth as hard as you can until you no longer can fill any more air into your lungs and belly. Breathe it into your belly, not your lungs. And breathe out through the mouth. Do this for 5 minutes or 2 minutes, however long. I promise you, breath affects your consciousness. You will notice the difference. If you do it quicker, the quicker it'll affect your consciousness, and you might go lightheaded. But that lightheaded is you activating your spirit, your energy body. So try this just by when watching this video. When you breathe consciously, you are renewing both your energy body and astral body, aligning your consciousness with a higher state. This practice feeds new life force energy into the body, revitalizing and enhancing your overall well being. Like I said, your brain requires the most amount of oxygen. When we have shallow breathing, this is reducing the brain's capacity. Because when we are not breathing properly, which 98% of people are only using a third of their lungs capacity, we are essentially only using a third of our consciousness, because your breath is directly correlated to your consciousness, your state of consciousness. When you breathe in through the mouth, out through the mouth, out in through the nose, out through the mouth, consciously and deeply for 5 minutes, you will notice that your senses are more powerful and sensitive. Your brain is quicker. What's the word? It processes information quicker. You become quicker. You become a superhuman, and you feel more spiritual because it activates your spirit, your astral and energy body. So when we meditate, it's definitely important to breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth as deeply as possible to align with a higher state of consciousness. And this is the easiest way to separate your consciousness from the body. When you breathe in deeply for long periods of time, while meditating, while taking no thought, when no thought is present and you gain a rhythm of deep breathing, this is the gateway. This is the gateway to opening your consciousness. Because when you stop thinking, other aspects of your consciousness can open up. All of our lives we've been thinking, which is blocked off the higher states of consciousness. So breathing is very, very important. It affects our overall well-being. And this is Yahweh, the in and the out of breathing. When we breathe in, this is Yah. You can hear it. It sounds like Yah. And when we breathe out, that is Way. This is the name of God, apparently. But God is within you. You can connect with God. You can connect with source consciousness within you by breathing, by raising your state of consciousness through breathing and meditation. This is why the Bible tells you the Spirit of God has made me, and the breath of the Almighty gives me life. You are consciousness. You are God. You're an extension of God's consciousness. Job 27:3. As long as my breath is in me and the Spirit of God is in my nostrils. The Spirit of God is through breath. John 20:22. And when he said this, he breathed on them and said to them, receive the Holy Spirit. The word spirit means breath. In Greek, Hebrew, Latin, it all means breath or wind or air. The Holy Spirit is a certain way of breathing, a breathing technique that elevates your consciousness, that syncs you up to a holy consciousness, an elevated state. That is the Holy Spirit. That's why it tells you in the Bible, when he said this, he breathed onto them. He breathed onto them and said, receive the Holy Spirit. You must breathe to receive the Holy Spirit. When you breathe, you are renewing the body's energy. You're taking in new life force, which is regenerating your cells, regenerating your brain, nervous system, and also connecting with consciousness, pure consciousness. This is not something that we should be doing during meditation. Yes, it is. We should be doing it during meditation, but this is something that we need to apply all of the time. This is the fastest way you can raise your consciousness. I just want to say, all of this knowledge is inside of the Book of Wisdom, Volume 2. Make sure to give a like and a comment on this video to help the algorithm. And let me know what you think about the last book or this book if you have read them, to let the new people know what they're looking at with this book. This is truly life changing. The volume 2 and volume 1 is truly life changing. You can get them in a bundle also. Learn hidden knowledge inside of the Ethereal University. This is where truth seekers belong. I'm not here to try sell you this, but this is the place for truth seekers. And if you are serious about your spiritual journey and serious about gaining knowledge, which gives you the advantage over life, join Ethereal University. This will definitely help you. Thank you for watching this video. Please leave a like and comment. Make sure to give me any suggestions on videos you want me to make in the future. Thank you all.
bookofwisdom.com. Visit today.
What is good, people? We're back with another video, and today we're talking about the chakras. Let's jump straight into this because I know there's been a lot of requests for this video. So let's jump straight into this. So you have 7 chakras, right? 7 chakras, and these chakras are feeding off your electromagnetic field, known as your aura. This is both positive and a negative pole, male and female, right? This electromagnetic field is made out of electric and magnetism, and together they come as electromagnetic. Now, your chakras, the word chakra just means wheel, spinning wheel, because that's what they are. They're spinning wheels of energy. They do not exist on this physical plane. They exist on the etheric plane. Okay. Now, these energy centers are known to regulate your emotions, and each energy center controls the organs and cells in that particular area of the body. So, for example, your sacral chakra will control the cells and organs of your sexual reproduction area. Okay, the navel chakra or solar plexus will control the digestion in your body. Same with the heart, same with the throat, right? So they are like mini brains for each center of your body. They run along up the spine, but notice the crown chakra exists outside the body. It's just above the head. Now, this process of the chakras is obviously the 7 colors of the rainbow, starting from red, which is the lowest vibrational color, all the way to violet, which is the highest vibrational color. This, like I said, these energy centers are feeding off your electromagnetic field. So if these chakras are unbalanced, they are taking too much energy from your electromagnetic field, making it weaker. Now, this is the North Pole. As you all know, the Earth is flat, and we live inside of a giant torus field, and the North Pole is the Earth's heart chakra. And this is why the aurora borealis, or the northern lights, whatever you want to call them, that's why they are green, and they are being emitted from this center point of the Earth, because it's symbolizing the heart chakra, which is green, right? Now, you do work your way up to these. However, this is a torus field. You are a torus field. You have different layers of this torus field, right? And you need to balance all of these chakras, but you can't move up these chakras until you open the one below it. So it's like a stairway. You can't go to your solar plexus without going through your sacral. You see? So you have to work up these. However, you have to work up these and then live from the heart, because the heart is the center of the torus field. It's the balance between male and female poles, positive and negative poles. So you have to balance all of these chakras and then bring them all into one, which is the heart chakra. Now, they exist on the etheric plane. They exist on the etheric plane, and the etheric plane is a layer of the material plane. It's the one higher than the material plane. And then after the etheric plane, it melts into the astral plane. So they exist just between the physical and the astral aspect. Now, this is the yin and yang matter, which is the lowest root chakra, physical matter, and then to spirit, because high vibrational matter turns into spirit, low vibrational spirit turns into matter. So they're interchangeable. This is the yin and yang. Now, when you see ancient paintings with the halos, you see this is like a toroidal field coming out the top of his head, you see, with a halo. This was symbolizing in the old days, in the ancient days, that they've aligned their chakra, they've reached Christ consciousness, which is God consciousness, right? Now, this electromagnetic field is the apple that we bit out of in the Bible, because you see that apple is a torus field. So they were metaphorically or personifying the torus field. That's what the Bible is. It's a massive personification. It's all metaphors. You have to read it properly. It's got a greater meaning behind it. Now, when we bit from the apple, we ate from the tree of knowledge, which is good and evil. Our lower mind took over, so we materialized to feed our physical bodies. We materialized through Saturn. That's what Saturn does. Now, if you don't understand that, go and watch the video previous to this one called Occult Secrets of Saturn. And that will show you how Saturn is the materializer. Now, this is one of the secrets behind the Masonic compass, electric and magnetic, male and female, duality, positive and negative. Now, like I said, they teach you about the torus field, about a magnet in school, but they don't teach you about your electromagnetic field. Everything alive has a torus field. It is the building block of this creation. Absolutely everything has a torus field. There's not one thing without it. And as you can see here at the center of the apple, that's where the seed is. That's where the life is. The reproduction of that organism. As you see, this is where the most electromagnetic energy is stored, in the center, because this is where the two duality, this is where the field meets at the very center. This is why the seed is at the very center. Now, your spine is a elongation of the brain. The brain is heaven, and the bottom of the spine is hell. So this is Saturn, which is the root chakra. The 7 planets are associated with each chakra. Moon equals mind. Okay. Now, Saturn is physical matter, as I've just explained. This is the lowest vibrational color. And they want you trapped down here, which is your hell state, your animal nature, your physical nature. They want you to identify as the physical body. They don't want you to reach these higher states of consciousness. Okay? Now, in the brain, you have 12 convolutions. Now, this is what they were symbolizing in the Bible with the 12 disciples. And obviously in the Bible, it says the upper room where Jesus met with his disciples. This is heaven, the brain, the higher states of consciousness. Now, this is your North Pole. This is Jacob's ladder. Okay. This is why you have 33 levels of Freemasonry, because it's symbolizing the 33 vertebrae, which are these little things here on the back of your spine. Because once the Kundalini energy from the bottom of your spine rises to the top, this is when you get enlightenment and opens your third eye. Spiritual enlightenment. As you can see here, this is Jacob's ladder. This is the Kundalini symbol, right? And they're even showing you this in the medical symbol. They're putting it in your face. The serpents are wrapped around the spine. Now, the serpents symbolize how the energy moves around the spine, because it's a torus field, you see? At the center of the torus field, it wraps around the center pole. It wraps around it, and this is how the energy moves up. So they're symbolizing it with the serpents. Okay. Now, every religion has a sacred river. For the Egyptians, it's the River Nile. For Christianity, it's the Jordan River, right? This river is the canal, the energy canal at the center of your spine, all the way leading to heaven, to the Holy Land. This is the chamber which the energy rises up, right? Now, they used to say the gods descended from heaven to man. This is just heaven. This is the mind state. And they said the gods were connected by a rainbow bridge. That's the chakra system, the rainbow bridge. Okay. Now, the ancients called this place Midgard, Earth, where both evil and good live, right? Midgard. But you can go to heaven, which is a pure mind state, because once you're in heaven, nothing negative can ever bother you. That's completeness, pure Christ consciousness. Now, this is why Jesus dies at 33. He didn't actually die, but it's symbolizing the death of the physical body. Not the death of the physical body, but his consciousness rising above the physical body to, as I said here, matter to spirit. Matter died off and he came spirit consciousness. This is symbolized by the 33 vertebrae, which is obviously the 33 levels of Freemasonry. And now the pineal gland, which is at the very top of this Jacob's ladder, or the River Jordan, the canal, your 33 vertebrae on your spine. This is where the pineal gland sits, right? At the very top, at the center of your brain. Now, there's multiple ways this was symbolized. The Eye of Ra, which is used by the Egyptians. Now, this pineal gland is the seat of consciousness. This is where your consciousness is stored, right? And the ancient Sumerians used the pine cone, hence why it's got the word pineal gland, the seat of the soul consciousness. It produces DMT, dimethyltryptamine, which is known as the spirit molecule. And the pineal gland is wrapped in microcrystals, and we all know crystals transfer frequency and energy. Now, radios use crystals. A radio is a frequency transmitter, turning a frequency into a frequency that we can hear with our ears, right? Because all the radios are actually playing right now in your ears. However, our ears can't pick it up, so the radio transmits it into a frequency that we can hear using crystals. So this is the power of crystals, and this is what our third eye is wrapped in, crystals. Now, this third eye is not actually your third eye, it's your first eye. When you're being materialized in your mother's womb, this is the first gland that is produced, and everything's built around it, because it is the consciousness. It is your consciousness. Your consciousness never dies, ever. It's an eternal essence. It lives forever. You never actually die. Only the mortal body dies. Now that's what we call life. Life is abided by time, and time is change. And change is what we call life, because everything's constantly moving and transforming into different things, right? Now let's not get off track. The pine cone is obviously, this is in the Vatican here. The pine cone is symbolized as the pineal gland, pine. And this is the opened pine cone. The opened pine cone means, or symbolizes, the awakened man, the awakened third eye. But the ones here, which the Sumerian gods are holding, these are shut pine cones, symbolizing the unawakened man. But let's not get confused, people. These gods were not gods. They are human beings just like you. They reached Christ consciousness. They are nothing more special than you. They just had the ability to reach Christ consciousness. And obviously their knowledge was far more intelligent than ours, far more advanced than ours. They knew the truth about this reality to the depths. Now, the ancient Hindus had a goddess called Kundalini, which is said that she descended by the means of a ladder or a cord from heaven, which is symbolizing the spinal cord. Now, this is what Hickory Hickory Dock, the mouse went up the clock and came back down. This is all these stories, like Santa as well. Santa comes up and then down the chimney. This is symbolizing the Christ oil. There's an oil which is produced in your pineal gland, right? And this oil travels down the spine. And once it's down on the spine, you must have to raise your consciousness, just like I said, with the chakras. You have to raise your consciousness, raise your vibration to heat up this oil and turn it into a gas. And it travels back up the spine through like the serpents up the spine, and this awakens the third eye once it's coming back up the spine and hits the pineal gland. This is the secret behind Santa and Hickory Hickory Dock, because Santa comes down and feeds the presents and goes back up the chimney, and he lives in the North Pole, the positive pole. This is the North Pole, people, and the presence is your sacred oil. This oil, your physical body is the furnace. It's the spiritual furnace, which you have to heat up this oil by raising your frequency and turning it into a gas to rise up this chamber, the River Jordan, to your third eye, right? Now, this is an alchemical process. Your body is the alchemical furnace. It says in the Bible, if therefore thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be filled with light. I shouldn't have cut that out, but that's what it says. The light of the body is thine eye. If therefore thine eye be single, thy eye shall be filled, their body shall be filled with light. This is symbolizing the pineal gland, enlightening the body, the spiritual body, filled with light. Now, as I said, they want you kept down here, which is the root chakra, which is your animal nature, which is obviously mind, matter over mind. This is the symbol of Saturn, right? As you say, we're built of body, mind, and spirit, the Holy Trinity. That is the sun, moon, and earth. The sun's your soul, solar. Moon is your mind. Earth, which is the cross, which is your physical body, the 5 elements, right? So body, mind, and spirit. So the Saturn symbol is actually made out of the cross on top, which is the earth, and the moon on the bottom, which is symbolizing matter over mind, because earth is physical matter. You don't want to be matter over mind. You need to be mind over matter. See, they want you identifying as your physical body. They don't want you to realize you're an eternal consciousness. You're an eternal essence of consciousness which never dies. They want you trapped in your animal nature. And this is why the Baphomet has a goat head, because it's symbolizing the animal nature, which is evil. Not evil, but you're more likely to do evil things, right? Which brings bad karma. That's your animal side. This is why the Baphomet has an animal goat head. As you can see here, he's got the Kundalini energy here. So when you see the inverted cross, the cross is your body, as you can see here. The inverted cross means your chakras downwards, down here. Your head's down here. Your mind is down here. But your mind needs to be up here, which is the upwards cross, which is Christ consciousness. And as we all know, 7 colors of the rainbow, 7 planets, 7 chakras. Red light is low frequency and long range. This is why Saturn is the slowest moving celestial body. And it's the lowest chakra, because it's low frequency, long range. The moon being the crown chakra, which is high frequency. This is why the moon moves around the quickest. The moon is your crown chakra, which moon in mind. See, so there are multiple ways of your chakras becoming blocked. Now, each chakra has a specific intelligence. It has a specific thing that it's doing for the body, right? Now, this can be overused. It can be abused. For example, masturbation. That keeps you down here in your sacral chakra because you're abusing the energy center. You're abusing your sexual energy, which is then becoming unbalanced. So this is how energy, this is why these centers are pulling more energy out your electromagnetic field, because these centers are wheels. The chakras just mean spinning wheel of energy. So when you're abusing these certain centers, you're pulling energy out of your electromagnetic field, which is making your field weaker, which is making your frequency lower, which makes you prone to diseases, prone to lower negative energy, right? So you need to align these chakras. You need to unbalance them. And as you can see here, you can screenshot these to see how they're blocked. I'm not going to go over each one because it'll take me forever, but have a little read yourself. This is why they're blocked. Now, the ancients used to say Aum when they meditated. Now, these are the 7 vowels. There's not 5 vowels, there's actually 7. Now, when they say Aum, they're aligning all their chakras by saying this when meditated. This is where the Aum originated from. Now, emotion is energy in motion. So if you're feeling a certain way, that's the energy you've put in motion. It's a reflection. We live in a mirror reality. Everything's mirrored. Everything's mirrored. As within, so without, as above, so below. Everything's a reflection of some sort. So whatever you're feeling, you're doing something wrong. It's telling you you're doing something wrong from the root cause. Because your energies are the effect. You're feeling the effect of something you've caused. The law of cause and effect. Nothing escapes it. Now, the Jehovah's Witness believe that exactly 144,000 faithful Christians go to heaven or be resurrected, right? This is not true. This is symbolic. 144,000 go to heaven. Now, the petals on the chakras, this is the root chakra, this is the crown chakra. Now, if you add up the first 5 chakras, the petals, add up the petals on the first 5 chakras, you get 48. And then you get to the third eye, which has 2 petals. 48 times 2 equals 96. 96 plus 48, which you got from here, equals 144. The last chakra has 1,000 petals. Times 144 times 1,000, you get 144,000. This is a frequency. This frequency is the frequency of the ascension up your chakras. This frequency is a high frequency, which turns that oil into gas, which rises up the spine, activating your third eye. Right? So this is all the religions are all symbolic for this sacred secret of Christ consciousness. As it says in the Bible, the kingdom of God is within. It's not out there, people. You must look within yourself. You are God. You are a spark of his consciousness, infinite consciousness, right? So 144,000 is a frequency, and you must achieve this. Like I said, these people in the past, they're not gods, people. These were just humans. Nothing special. They just reach Christ consciousness. Now, they keep you in these lower vibrational states with the food, right? And as you can see here, all of these fast food restaurants are mainly are red and yellow, which are these lower states, these lower 2 chakras, lower vibrational colors, because they want you trapped down here in matter. And these foods are so low vibrational, they will keep you down here, because your gut produces, I think it's like 80% of melatonin. Melatonin is your feel-good hormone. These foods will not make you feel good. This is very low vibrational. Meat. It's not meat, it's raw flesh. These animals are stripped from their family, put on a conveyor belt, watch their friends be tortured, and then get slaughtered in a slaughterhouse. Think of all the fear that's running through their blood. All the hormones, all the fear. and you're going to go and eat that very low vibrational energy. As you can see here, this is the light photons within fruit. You can see the light, the life force in this fruit. You must think, feel, and do positive to raise your vibration. As you can see, earth equals heart. If you rearrange it, everything in nature is green, right? The aurora borealis is green. You must align all these chakras and then live from the heart, because the heart's the center of the Taurus field. You must become the consciousness in the center. So that's it for this video, people. Thank you all. God bless.
bookofwisdom.com. Visit today.
You don't just have a physical body. You have a physical, mental, spiritual, and emotional body. Each one of these aspects are a body of its own. Body does not just refer to a physical substance. You have a mental body for thinking, an emotional body for your emotions, a spiritual body for your energy in your astral form, and a physical body to encapsulate all of these. Each four of these aspects are essential for the human experience and essential to balance. Now, today we're going to be syncing the four aspects of your consciousness with the four seasons and the four elements and how this ties into the Bible. So we have four physical elements. We have 5 elements in total, spirit being the most important, but spirit is pure invisible. We have 4 physical elements. We have air, fire, earth, water. Earth and water are feminine. Air and fire are masculine. Air and fire are active. Water and earth are passive. The air corresponds with the mental body of consciousness. This is where your intellect, this is where your communication, this is where your thoughts, intuition all comes from. This is the mental body of consciousness that allows you to think, allows you to process, figure things out, and have intellect and gain knowledge. This is your intellectual aspect of your consciousness, located in the head region. We have a fire nature, a spiritual nature. This is our astral body. Our astral body is all to do with the subconscious realms, the higher realms of consciousness. This is the body that allows us to be free from the physical body. Our spirit is more of our energy. Water is our emotional body. This is what allows us to feel things, that allows us to gain intuitive feelings of conscience. So emotion allows us to understand what is right and what is wrong. When we feel something bad, we know that this is wrong. When we feel something good, we know that we are doing good. Emotions are a creational force that allows us to feel certain things to bring them into existence. Our emotional body is a creational force and should not be reactive, and they should be controlled. Most actions are stemmed from emotions. Actions bring thought into physical existence. Emotions are the driving power. They are what drives your actions. The thought, then the emotion, then the action. Earth is your physical body. This is your physical state that allows you to take mind and emotion into action, into fruition, into physical matter. This is what your physical body allows your consciousness, your soul, to interact with the physical world and bring things into physical existence. The physical body, the physical world, is an outcome and an effect of the thinking mind. All physical substance comes from the thinking mind. The pen, the phone you're holding, the microphone I'm speaking into, all began as a thought in the thinking mind, then it was brought into physical reality. Earth is the most dense. So it goes in this order: body, emotions, spirit, mind. The higher you go up, the more lucid and fluidic it becomes. The lower you go down, the more dense and dull it becomes. Air is the mind, fire is the spirit, water is the emotion, earth is the physical body. So this is why you are a microcosm. You have these four things within you. You contain of these four elements, which correspond to the four bodies of your consciousness, the four bodies of the soul. You are the soul. You are the spirit. So this is why in Theologians 4:17 it says, "Caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air." You don't meet God or the Lord in the physical air, in the clouds. This is clearly a parable. A human being cannot go up to the clouds and meet a mystical man in the clouds. This is obviously a parable, a metaphor. The air is your mind. You must raise your consciousness beyond the body, beyond the emotions, beyond the spirit, and enter in the mind during meditation, turning the mind inward to connect with the Lord. The Lord is the highest aspect of your consciousness, the one that exists beyond the physical body, beyond your emotions, beyond the thought. So you meet the Lord in the air, in the mind. The mind represents the air. This is why in America there's a saying called an airhead. You're an airhead. This means that you are stupid, or you don't think, or you have nothing in your mind. You have nothing in your head. When someone's very stupid, you call them an airhead, because air represents the mind. The air is elevated. The air is invisible. The mind is totally invisible to the human eyes. It is a metaphysical substance. In fact, it's not a substance at all. It's so fluidic. It's everywhere. The mind can be everywhere at all times. It can be anything. Nothing is impossible within the mind. Now, this is synced with the four seasons. The four seasons represent the four aspects of human consciousness, the four bodies of your consciousness, the four bodies of your soul. The sun is your soul, okay? And the sun travels around four seasons. Summer, when the sun is the most hottest point. Autumn, when the sun starts to move away from the hottest point. Things start to die. Then it goes to winter. This is when everything dies. This is when things enter in within itself. This is when darkness occurs. Then spring. This is the reignition of the sun. This is when the sun starts to bring back the warmth back to the summer. You have four seasons which correspond to the four bodies of consciousness. Fire is the spirit. This is when you are passionate. This is when you are taking action. This is when you are fiery. The sun is blazing. You're taking action. You're very passionate. You're very spirit. You're in the spirit. Autumn is water, emotion. This is when you start to become very reflecting. This is when you start to feel emotional, because in autumn there's lots of water. This represents the emotional body of consciousness. Winter is the mind. This is air. Winter, what happens in winter? Everything enters within itself. The leaves die, the trees die, everything dies and goes within. This is the mind. The mind is the darkness, remember. You close your eyes to enter within the mind. The winter represents meditation. In the winter, what do people do? They stay inside of their house. They research more. They read more books. They become more intellectual. They think more in the winter because we are so we're stuck inside. So we're more reflective, we're thinking more, we're more communicative, we're more intellectual. In the spring, this represents the earth, the body. This is when we start to come out of the mind and we awaken to the body, and things start to grow again. The plants start to grow. The earth is growing again and reborn again. This is the body. This is when you become more active in the spring. And then the summer, back to the summer, we then take action on these thoughts and these thoughts that we gained over the winter. Essentially, this is just a massive cycle, and this is a daily cycle also. The nighttime is the winter, the morning is the spring, the midday is the summer, and the evening time is the autumn. This is a microcosm. We have 4 bodies of consciousness. You are the sun, you are the soul, and the soul has 4 bodies: summer, autumn, winter, spring. Emotion, air, body, spirit. Sorry, emotion, mind, body, spirit. So you are the soul. You are the pure essence of consciousness. The sun is your soul in the heart. And the seasons are inside of you because you are a microcosm. Okay? You are a microcosm. The word sun is son. The Latin word for sun is sol, which is soul or solo, because the sun is solo. It's on its own. You are the soul, and the soul has the 4 different bodies of consciousness. So before we move on any further, if I've blown your mind, please, if you can, leave a like, a comment, a share, and a subscribe. Let me know what videos you want me to make in the future. Please drop a like. It definitely will help me. You are a microcosm of the macrocosm. Man is a miniature universe that goes through its own cycles. The seasons of the summer, winter, spring, and autumn do not occur merely outside of him, but within him as well. The summer is within you. You feel different in the summer. You feel different in the winter. You feel, depending on the body of consciousness, it's your soul's interacting with. So the sun in the sky is your soul inside, and the sun goes through these cycles, which is affecting your bodies of consciousness, because the cycles represent your bodies of consciousness. Now, this ties in with the Bible. This is why we have 4 Gospels. This is why Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John are always seen with the 4 different zodiac sign animals or symbols. So you always see each one of the Gospels. If you just type in on Google Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, type in ancient pictures, paintings, or pictures of them, and you will find these 4 zodiac signs are always standing with each one. Taurus, the bull; Leo, the lion; Scorpio, the eagle. An old symbol for Scorpio was the eagle, and a man for Aquarius. Here you see very, very ancient paintings and artwork. Here we see Matthew, the man, Aquarius. Here we see John, the Scorpio. Same here. We also see it on the tarot cards, on the world card. We see the 4 fixed zodiac signs. Here we see it as well. These are called the 4 fixed zodiac signs. Now, when we look at the zodiac, we're no longer looking at the sky, because what you must understand is as above, so below. What is above you is inside of you. What is above is what is below. What is outside of you is within you. The zodiac is inside of you. The zodiac revolves around the sun. The sun is your soul. These are different energies of your soul. Like I said earlier, the 4 seasons are the 4 bodies of your consciousness. And in each body of consciousness, you have these different energetic energies that you can work with. Okay, so this is the true astrology. This is the true astrology, the internal esoteric astrology. You can't find much information on this at all. Very hard to find. So what we're looking at are the 4 bodies of consciousness. Obviously, when you look in the middle of each, when we look in the middle of each season, spring, the middle of spring is Taurus. The middle of winter is Aquarius. The middle of autumn is Scorpio. The middle of summer is Leo. These 4 signs are known as the 4 fixed signs. Okay, Scorpio is fixed. It's the middle of autumn. Scorpio is a water sign, emotion. Aquarius is the air sign, the mind. Taurus is an earth sign, the body. Leo is a fire sign, the spirit. This is why we see Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John with the 4 fixed signs of the zodiac, which represent the 4 bodies of consciousness. Leo, the spirit, fire. Luke, Taurus, earth, body. Matthew, Aquarius, air, mind. John, Scorpio, water, emotion. Each gospel is depicting Jesus and showing Jesus in each gospel. Each one of these gospels is showing and depicting Jesus according to the different body of consciousness. In John, this is when Jesus starts to turn water into wine. Water is emotion, wine is transmuted emotion. This is when he does miracles with his emotions, water into wine. Aquarius, which is Matthew, air, the mind. Inside of the Gospel of Matthew, this depicts Jesus as an intellectual person, a person is communicating and using his mind, his mental body a lot inside of the Gospel of Matthew. Go and read it, and you will see this. Luke, Taurus, earth, the body. Luke shows and depicts Jesus according to the body of consciousness, the physical body. He shows Jesus as a human, being a human being, helping people physically and helping people's physical needs, like giving away food and doing all sorts of good things for other people. Leo, Mark, inside of the Gospel of Mark, this shows Jesus as a spiritual teacher, a passionate person who is taking action. Each gospel is showing Jesus according to the different body of consciousness. And Jesus represents you, the sun. That's why it's called the Son of God, the light of the world. Jesus represents your soul, and your soul has these 4 gospels, the 4 bodies of consciousness, the 4 fixed signs, the 4 elements, and the 4 seasons. These things all correspond to your consciousness. So this is Leonardo da Vinci showing you the exact same thing. Jesus is the I am, the sun, the soul, in the middle, on his own. Luke, spring, earth, body. There are 3 people in each group. There are 4 groups, and there are 3 people in each group. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Fall, winter, summer, spring. These are according to the 4 bodies of consciousness. Here we see Aries, which rules the head region. He's on the head of the table. Gemini, he's holding up the 2 hands because Gemini rules the 2 hands, the 2 arms. Gemini is the 2 twins, which is the 2 arms and 2 hands, and the 2 lungs. Here we see the beginning of summer, which is Cancer. You see the big knife here. Cancer, him here, this gray-haired guy, holding a knife for the crab. Cancer, they pinch. You have a knife, symbolizing the crab. Leo, the middle of summer, showing dominance. The sun is very dominant. He's got his elbow on the table, showing dominance. Virgo has no Adam's apple. Cancer here is pointing at this woman's neck, saying there's no Adam's apple. This is Virgo, the virgin, the only woman. Jesus, the sun. This is Libra, the balancing. He's holding his arms out balanced, showing the balancing of the sun, because when the sun enters Libra, the sun is balanced between winter and summer. So it's balanced. This is all astrology, but this is internal. Okay? This is Ezekiel's vision. Ezekiel had a vision in the Bible, and he saw the face of a man, the face of a lion, the face of an ox, and the face of an eagle. The eagle, Scorpio, the ox is Taurus, the lion is Leo, and the man is Aquarius. He saw the throne of God, and he saw the different bodies of consciousness. This is all symbolic for the different bodies of your soul. So when we look at the zodiac, we are actually looking at a map and the energies of our soul and the energies of our bodies and the energies of our consciousness. This is what we are looking at. Each zodiac is an aspect of our consciousness and an energy that we can work with. and that we must purify. Balance and purification is essential. Imagine playing a brand new video game. Let's say a brand new video game came out and you had to play it. What happens when you play that game? You don't know the controls. You cause chaos in that game. You can't really run properly. You can't do anything properly. You're getting destroyed by other people who are playing that game. It's the same with your physical body. When you are born, you must learn how to play the game. You must learn how to balance the mind, learn how to balance the spirit, the emotions, and the physical body. We must balance and purify each body of our consciousness. We must look after our physical body with our physical health by eating physical, electrical food like fruits and veg. We must look after our minds by being conscious of what enters our eyes, enters our ears, enters everything. Whatever enters our five senses is affecting our mind, our mental health, our environment, mental. We need to look after our thoughts, control our thoughts by purifying our thoughts, only positive thoughts. Then we must purify our emotions, feeling only gratitude and love and not feeling these negative, dull emotions. Then we must look after our spiritual body through meditation and looking after our spirit. But remember, when we look after our mind, it all begins in the mind. Each body of consciousness is interlocked with the other. If you have if you have an unhealthy body, you have an unhealthy mind, spirit, and emotions. If you have an unhealthy mind, you have an unhealthy body, spirit, and emotions. If you have an unhealthy emotions, you have an unhealthy spirit, mind, and physical body. They're all interlocked. You must balance each one of them. Look after your physical body. Look after your thoughts. Look after your emotions. Look after your spirit. But remember, the mind is the most powerful one. It's mind over matter. Once we look after the mind, because once we start to control our minds and control every thought we think, this will then turn into discipline in our physical body. Because once we learn how to discipline the mind, we learn how to discipline what we eat, we learn how to discipline what we feel, we learn how to discipline our spirit. This is all interlocked, but work on the mind first. Work on the mind first. All of this knowledge is inside of the brand new Book of Wisdom, Volume 2. This is a revolution of human consciousness. If you've read it, please leave a review down below. If you've read Volume 1, leave a review down below. This is the next revolution. I don't see this information anywhere. This is the next revolution of human consciousness. And of course, if you are serious about this and you truly want to gain enlightenment and join an amazing community where you can connect with me on live calls, lectures, the Manifestation Mastery course, you can gain access to my library with over 45 PDFs plus my books. And if you do join the university, you can order a Volume 2 free of charge. All you have to do is to pay for shipping. If you truly take your knowledge serious and you want to take advantage of life, join the university. This is where truth seekers belong. Just want to say thank you all. Please leave a comment. Please leave a like. It's going to help me a lot spread this knowledge to the world. And yeah, share this with a friend and subscribe. Thank you all.
bookofwisdom.com. Visit today.
Okay. Is manifestation real? Of course it's real. You've just manifested that sentence. You turned a thought into an action and then generated a physical experience. You turned the invisible thought into a tangible reality. That is manifestation. You just have to learn how to do that on a mass scale, on a bigger scale, to generate something bigger. So yeah, of course, manifestation is real. That's all you're ever doing. Creation is not created. It's in an ever state of becoming. You are in a
continuous state of becoming something in the present moment. You know, so you're always molding creation through thought, emotion, and action. Let's let the Harley Davidson go past my house. It's a very loud bike. It's a cool bike. But yeah, you're in a continuous state of creation. And that's what this symbol ultimately represents, right? Hi, if I order your book today, will it be here before next Friday? You mean not this Friday, but next? Yeah, it should be there, for sure. So, this is what this symbol ultimately represents. Because the snake can shed its skin, which means it renews its layers. It transforms from old layers into new layers. It removes old layers of skin, symbolizing transforming. But the snake is eating its tail. The end gives birth to a new beginning. And this is what the present moment is. The present moment is the continuous state of becoming and unfolding of creation. We're all tapped into the live stream of consciousness, like you're tapped into this live right now. And you are directing them life forces in the present moment through thought, emotion, and action. You direct the life flow, the life force that you're tapped into. And wherever you direct it through thought, emotion, and action, and your time and attention, that is the reality you generate. And you create that reality. And that's what the symbols are here for, people. The symbols are here to awaken you to things that you just realize about yourself. I'm not teaching you anything new. This is just something you realize. This is solid truth that you can't, escape. You can't escape the law of cause and effect. The force is too powerful to escape the force and the law of cause and effect. The law of cause and effect is over you. It governs you. So you have to work with that law consciously. Most people are not conscious of the laws that govern their life. They're not conscious of the laws that's governing their mind. Your mind is governed by laws, not man-made laws, but universal laws you cannot escape. It is impossible to escape cause and effect. So you must work with the law. God law, basically. Yeah, they're called, occult societies, secret societies, they call the laws natural law. Then, of course, you have man-made laws. So you have to work with the law. If you do not work with the law is going to be working anyway. And it will probably work against your favor. But these laws that are in place are there to give you what you want, to create your will, to create your desire. These laws are here for you to create, to give you what you want. Okay? So we have to become conscious of the laws that is governing our mind. Because the mind functions with free will, however, exists in the boundaries of the laws. Without them laws, the mind would not solidify a true creation. Everything would be chaos. The laws make sure that it creates this specific reality that you're experiencing right now. Hello, Harry. I've reached a higher state of consciousness thanks to you and your book. Wow, amazing, Craig. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. This book, don't read it once, read it many, many times. I'm probably sure you already have, but it just helps you. You pick up new things every time you read it. What do you think about getting a pentagram tattoo or a different symbol? I mean, the pentagram's a great symbol. It's just how you use the symbol. I gifted your book to a friend. Wow, amazing. Which book? The new one or the older ones? So we can influence our reality, of course, through thought, emotion, and action. You have free will. You have full control over them three things. If you try and control anything other than your thought, your emotion, and your action, you are going against natural law. God has given you the permission to only control your thoughts, your emotions, your actions. If you try and force anything on anyone else, you are then breaking natural law. They are the forces that consciousness expresses itself through the mind, mentalism, through thought, imagination, through emotion, through feeling, intuition, and through action, willpower, taking physical actions. That is how the force of consciousness expresses itself in three distinct ways. And that's how you create your reality, through thought, emotion, and action. And that's how you gain your personal power, by controlling your reality. How do you control your reality? Very simple. Is this the Book of Wisdom? This is not the Book of Wisdom. This is the Book of Symbolism, the brand new book, only available on my website. So here it is. Here it is, people. This is not the Illuminati. This is not the Illuminati, people. Let me make something clear. Everyone has demonized this symbol, and I think they use this symbol on purpose. Because this symbol unlocks your personal power, and that's what the Illuminati is. The Illuminati are illuminated people. That's ultimately what it means. Illuminated. What is illumination? Light. That's why there's light surrounded around it. Light in the eye. What is the eye? The internal perception. The mind that allows you to perceive information. The internal eye. The person in your mind who thinks. That's the real you. That is the real you. The person in your mind who thinks is truly formless. Okay? The Illuminati are illuminated people. They understand the secrets of the human mind and human consciousness. And other people who do not understand the secrets of the human mind and human consciousness are ignorant, and the people are using the knowledge they know against them. If you know psychology, right? If you know the deepest secrets of psychology, you can then use that against someone to manipulate them. That's how the system works. It runs on information, knowledge, and power. And the power comes through the information. The people who have the most information about how you function have more power. Why? Because they can use you, because they understand you more than you understand yourself. You see? That's what the Illuminati is. The Illuminati are people who understand the secrets of the human mind and how to manipulate the secrets of human consciousness to make them do something and create something in their agenda. You're all creators. This is what you need to understand. That's what consciousness is. Consciousness is a creative force. It creates through thinking, feeling, and acting. The triangle. But that thought, emotion, and action are just three expressions of the one force of consciousness. Thought, feeling, and acting are in fact one actual force. Because it's the force of the universe. We're all using the same force. And that's the same force that Yoda uses in Star Wars. In Star Wars is all talking about the force. That is the force, and that force is running through you right now in the present moment. You have the ability and the free will to direct that force through thought, emotion, and action into a reality. So the Illuminati is just simply people with a high understanding of consciousness and the human psyche, and how to actually create reality. You think something, you feel, and if you have a feeling towards that thought, you take the action. As soon as you lose feelings to watch this video, you will scroll and take action to find another video you have a feeling for. That is how reality creates. That's how reality unfolds. Okay? So the eye in the triangle is showing you the ultimate state of consciousness to create reality. 1 and 3. There is one eye and 3 points on the triangle. The 3 expressions of consciousness that creates reality: thought, emotion, and action. In one, unified. Most people do not have a unified consciousness. They think about creating a business, their emotions feel like watching TikTok, and their actions are eating food. That's divided consciousness. That's the checkered board. That's the Masonic checkered board. Their mind is divided in black and white, different personalities, different ideas, different desires. Their mind is not solidified on one creative project. Their mind is divided within duality. Okay? That's what the checkered board is. The checkered board is simply a divided mind. Because this checkered board is this whole piece of artwork you see here of the Freemasons is showing you how someone's mind functions. That's the secret. Very simple. Symbols, occult symbols, Freemasonic symbols are basically showing you mind states, how you think. Divided pillars, left and right pillar, sun, moon. Sun is masculine, the masculine mind, and the feminine mind, the conscious and the subconscious. But here, there's an eye in the middle, unifying them in the middle. Unification. Unifying with the true being inside of you. Not being left or right. Not being too masculine, not being too feminine, but unifying the masculine and feminine principles to become a unified consciousness so you can create your reality. The masculine principles symbolized by the sun and this left pillar symbolizes willpower, your will. Your willpower is very, very, very powerful. Willpower is ultimately everything you create, your will. So this sun represents the masculine forces of the mind, such as willpower, taking physical actions, intelligence, intellect, thinking. That's all the masculine. Then on the right side, you have the feminine qualities of consciousness on this right pillar, symbolizing imagination, emotion, desire, intuition. These are the feminine forces of consciousness. And what happens when a male and a female comes together? They give birth to a new creation called a baby. What happens when you merge your masculine and feminine qualities of consciousness? You merge your willpower, your thought with emotion and action. You give birth to a creation, a baby. The same principle. It's the same principle. Freemasonry is very simple. It's about bettering yourself, working on the temple, and the temple is symbolic for you, for your mind. The stonework of Freemasonry, Freemasonry is about stonework, and that stone is you. You're perfecting a stone, and that stone is your mind. You're perfecting the Temple of Solomon, or you're rebuilding the temple, which is rebuilding yourself, because you are the broken temple. The thing is, your teachings is destroying my life. It's not destroying your life, it's destroying your old view of the world, which will then give birth to a whole new, beautiful life. You have to go through destruction. You have to go through the darkness to see the light. Destruction, creation demands destruction. And it's up to you how you interpret my information. Take it with a pinch of salt. Go and do your own research. I'm not saying everything I'm saying is, take what I say and apply it to your life and see if it helps. But everything I'm telling you here is helping me build myself and build my own reality. But it's very simple. It's about building yourself, because when you create change in your own psyche, you see change in your world. What happens when you start to awaken? You start to think differently. And when you start to awaken and spiritually awake, what happens to your friends? Your friends say, oh, you've changed. You see? So the external world is always mirroring your internal world. If you create change in yourself, you will see a change mirrored outside of you. That is as above, so below. Okay. So, Freemasonry is very simple. It's about yourself. It's about the Temple of Solomon. You're rebuilding the Temple of Solomon. And the Temple of Solomon is an allegory for you. Your mind is the Temple of Solomon. Your body is the Temple of Solomon. So why is it the Freemasons wear this apron, right? So you see the Freemason here wearing this apron. Well, this apron originates from stone masonry. Stonemasons. What are stonemasons? Stonemasons chip away stone, and then they use the stone to put on a building or, wherever. But Freemasonry teaches in metaphors. So this stone, this apron, was worn by the stonemasons to protect themselves from flying chips of stone hitting their genital area. So this is symbolic of doing the Masonic work, perfecting the stone, perfecting your mind. Every day you are either building your mind or building your mind's prison. Every day. You wake up, you're either destroying your mind or either help freeing your mind. You have the option, right? And they also wear this apron on the lower half in the genital areas because you think with every chakra. The chakras are basically spinning energy vortexes. This is what you see here, right? These chakras. You can think with every single chakra. You think with your head. You can think with your heart. You can. These are centers of consciousness. Okay? These are centers. These are each center that you see along your spinal column has a high amount of nerve centers. It's like a nerve center. But that nerve center is then powered by the etheric body. Now, that's very advanced. Not many people understand that. But your body is not just you. You have many subtle vehicles of consciousness, bodies of consciousness, which you'll learn about in the Book of Wisdom, Volume 1. So there is one force in the universe, and that force is emanating through you, manifested in 7 chakras. Anyways, the reason why they wear this apron on the lower half of the body, because it's a reminder to cover up, to stay conscious of their lower self. Because this is the lower self of the lower half of the body, and this is the higher self in the higher part of the body. If you think with your genitals, all you think about is sex and eating. If you think with this lower half of the body, you will only, think about sex, eating, and power. So they wear this to remind themselves to conquer their lower nature, their animalistic state. Because the Mason is aware that they need to build themselves to a higher consciousness, to the higher mind. They need to align their will and mind with the higher mind. Because ultimately, the reason why all of these teachings stem from is because it's preparation for death. This is where all this comes from, okay? You never die. This is the truth. In the daytime, you're in your physical body, and in the nighttime, you're in your astral body, and it's just a massive cycle. So daytime is life, nighttime is death. Wintertime is life. Wintertime is death. Summertime is life. As above, so below. It's just bigger and smaller, right? So, with that being said, you never truly die. You are not the physical body. You are the internal being in your mind who thinks. You are not the thought. You are the one who hears the thought. The thinker. The knower. You are the being inside your mind, not the being outside your mind, which is this physical body. So Masonry is about working with that internal self. Mastering that internal voice, because that is the architect of your reality. The internal dialogue. That is the stone that they're working with. They're chipping away at, they're perfecting, they're smoothing. The inner dialogue. No one pays attention to this. The inner thinker, the being who is thinking in your mind. Who is that being? Who is the person in your head? It's not your body. Your body is acting out the commands of the internal being. So, this is what we have to connect to and master the inner dialogue, the inner thought processes, because the thought is the architect of reality. Thought creates everything. Thought creates everything in the whole universe. The whole universe originates from thought. So Freemasonry is basically about mastering the inner dialogue and working on the inner self, the person in your mind. And the deeper you get to know that inner voice, you start to realize that there are many different vehicles of consciousness. You don't just have a physical body, you have a physical, etheric, astral, and mental and spiritual body. The physical body is just the lowest dimension there is. The physical plane is the lowest dimension there is. Your mind operates above all of them. A thought is just a thought. It has no true form. That thought takes on the body. That thought wraps itself in imagination. So the thought alone is just a thought. But then that thought then wraps itself in something we call astral matter, which is your imagination. The light, the screen in your mind that allows you to vision a specific object. The thought wraps itself in astral forms. That astral form becomes like an emotion in your heart because you want to then take action to generate that mental image you created. Then it turns into a physical reality once you start to take the action to fulfill the desire of that mental image you created. So these are the many different vehicles of the mind. And the mind is not just in the brain. This is the whole wrong thing with science. The mind is not the brain. The brain is just a physical computer to decode the commands of the mind. The mind is not even touching the physical world. The inner dialogue is not in the physical world. The true you is a higher dimensional being. Okay? The inner dialogue. And we're working with that inner dialogue to master it, to ultimately master your reality. So again, Freemasonry is all about cutting stone, but it's not about actual stone. This book by Harry B. Joseph, right? Yeah, I am Harry B. Joseph. I wrote these books myself. This book is my brand new book, the Book of Symbolism. And it's only available on my website. You will not find this book anywhere else. The Book of Symbolism. So, nice to meet you. Welcome. Okay, so, again, what does this represent? The rough stone is a symbol of the self, the unrefined self, the unenlightened aspects of our mind. So the rough stone represents the uncontrolled aspects of our mind. We have many different versions of ourselves in our minds, right? We have a version of ourselves who's perfect. We have a rough version of ourselves that we can become. There's many different things in our mind. But the aim of the Mason is about unifying all of them different personalities into our higher self. It's about learning the secrets of the mind. So this represents the perfected aspects of the mind, and there is also there is no such thing as perfection. We will never actually truly perfect ourselves. But the aim is to be perfect. So the Freemasons show you the checkered board. I'm ordering all your books this week. Oh, wow, thank you. You will look, your whole life will change. Your whole life will change. Okay. The checkered board floor. This is symbolizing on a base level. So symbols have many different interpretations. So on a very basic level, this checkered board floor represents duality, how everything is dual, positive, negative, day and night, hot and cold. But the deeper you go into the layers of the symbol reveals the secrets about the human mind. So this is all showing you the mind. Different states of mind. Because that's what the universe is. The universe is one singular consciousness expressed in many different forms, in many different clothes, what we like to call people. Me and you are cut of the same fabric, which is the universal mind experiencing itself. So the mind is the very architect of reality. Life is not happening outside you, it's happening inside your mind. You are a projection of the mind. However, you have the ability to identify with your ego. Your ego is very simply just a false version that your mind, it's a version of yourself that your mind has created through experience, thoughts, words, memories, and traumas, and belief systems. But beyond you, if you turn your mind off, if you stop thinking, then who are you then? That's what we call the universal soul. Everyone is that same substance. When we all turn off our mind, we are all the same substance, the universal soul. But we have the ability to generate an ego, which is our own personal identity. The ego is not inherently evil, but the ego can become bad if you don't tame it. It's the beast. But anyways, the duality represents, very simple, black and white, positive, negative, day and night, the opposites in the physical world. But on a higher level of Masonry, it represents a divided mind. The one divided in many. The illusion of the third dimension, of how everything is separate. But in fact, we are all the same substance. We are all the I am. We are all the I, the inner dialogue, the inner voice. Masonry is about working with the internal voice, the thinker in the mind, the true higher dimensional being that you are. Because that higher dimensional being manifests its life forces through you and creates in the physical three-dimensional world. So it's about directing the life forces through you. Now, a big misunderstanding about the world that religion has placed on people. A big misunderstanding, right? People think the world was created. People think the world was created thousands of years ago. It's the biggest lie ever. Step back, remove that belief out your mind just for a second, and realize the truth. The world was not created thousands of years ago. The world is creating now, in the present. It's unfolding now. Creation is unfolding in the present moment. God is thinking reality into existence right now, and you are thinking your reality into existence right now through thought, emotion, and action. You are crystallizing reality now in the present, and you can become a co-creator with the creative force of the universe. But we've been taught the complete opposite because the powers that be in the world do not want you to become a conscious creator. They want you as a slave and a worker. You see, so we have to understand that we are all co-creators of this world. We're all contributing towards the building project of Earth right now. But the elites make you think that the world was created thousands of years ago, and now you're just experiencing it. Now you become an experiencer. You're not an experiencer. You're an experiencer and creator. You mold it. And when you do not understand this, someone else who does understand this will use you to create their agenda. Because they understand this. And look what's happening in the world today. We are creating the agenda of the government. Why? Because we believe their lies. We don't have to, but we choose to. We all have free will. Everything else is just an illusion. Money is an illusion. It's a belief in the mind. Harry, are you a part of Freemasons? I am not. And if I ever do, I will be transparent about that. So this is representing your mind divided. Divided consciousness. Now take a look here. What are the Freemasons trying to show you here? Squares to circles. Square, circles. Geometry. Geometry. Harry, my book came, thanks. It's a pleasure. It's an absolute pleasure. Enjoy the book. Take your time, read through it, enjoy it, read it over and over. You know, I can't wait for you to read this. Was it the third book you got? The three represent alignment, the black and white represents conscious and subconscious. It can represent that, yeah, that's one layer of symbolism. But you got to remember that the symbols don't represent one thing. There are many different layers to the symbols. Many different layers. So it's going from squares to circles. So you have to understand geometry for this. There's different codes to this. A square. Can you measure the surface area of a square? Of course. Very easy. You just measure this side and that side and times it. Right? Very simple. Then you have the surface area of a circle, of a square. But can you do that with a square? No. You can't find the surface area of a circle. It is impossible. You can get very close by using pi and different, different mathematical equations, but you will never exactly find the exact surface area of a circle. So what are the Freemasons trying to show you? Measurable and immeasurable. what you can physically touch and measure down here, the squares, and what you cannot touch and what you cannot measure. And there is a ladder going from what you can measure, the physical world, the squares, up to what you cannot measure, the circles. So this is about the upliftment of the mind. This is about the mind raising from only a physical state of awareness, raising the mind so it can function as a spiritual mind and use the higher dimensions of consciousness, such as imagination, thought. Most people's minds are stuck in the measurable, the squares, limited. They think inside the box. You have to raise your mind and think outside the box. This is what it's about. Raising your mind and using the higher dimensions, which is imagination. You cannot measure imagination. It does not exist in the physical plane. You cannot measure thought. It does not exist in the physical plane. So it's about raising consciousness to actually use the cognitions of the mind. Most people are not using the mind. Climbing in consciousness. We're going from squares to circles, measurable to the immeasurable. Okay? And that's the key. Look at the key. How do you go from the circle, the squares to the circles? You got to go through the woman, the green woman. Who's the green woman? Who is the green woman? The feminine. The feminine aspect of consciousness. You cannot just go from low consciousness to high consciousness. It is impossible. It takes a lot of work. Doing work on your mind is way harder than any labor or work you could possibly imagine. The work on yourself is not easy. And I never will say it's easy. It is very, very, very difficult to change your mind because it is literally programmed. Very difficult. So you have to go through the woman. And what's the woman? The care, the desire. You have to have a desire to climb the ladder. You have to have the love and the care to do so. If you do not have the care, you will not climb the ladder. If you do not have the care to watch this live, you will continue scrolling. You have to come into contact with the feminine, the heart. You have to care to reach the higher consciousness, to take the actions that are necessary to generate that consciousness. That's the key to open the door to the upper room Jesus mentions. Jesus is always talking about the upper room, the kingdom of heaven. This is what it is. It is a higher state of understanding. A higher state of self-mastery. That is what it's all about. So in order to climb the ladder from the immaterial to the material to the spiritual, you have to care. If you do not care, you will not reach that higher level of consciousness. Because why? It takes a lot of self-work. A lot of work. A lot of reprogramming the self. A lot of meditations to gain control over the inner dialogue. A lot of reflection. A lot of sacrifice. Yes, very well said. Very well said, Timon. It takes a lot. It's not easy. Constructing, working on your mind. It's very difficult. And you don't see the benefits for a very long time. But when you do start to see the benefits, the benefits are massive. So this is what it's about. It's you. This is all you. And what are we chasing? We're chasing the I. What's the I? The I is the eye is open, it sees. That's the inner observation, the inner being who observes everything, observes the thoughts, observes everything. But we're chasing a higher eye, a higher perception of ourselves by raising consciousness, a higher understanding of what you truly are beyond your human form, which is a higher dimensional being. We're chasing the eye. The eye is a higher perception of ourself. Yes, very well said. You see? So this is what this is why if you read symbols, you become very powerful. That's why I wrote a whole book on this, so you can learn this too. Everything I've said and more, you can learn. The Book of Symbolism, the only place it's available is on my bio. revivalofwisdom.com. I just released this November 17th. But it breaks down everything about Freemasonry, of how you can learn this knowledge and gain a higher consciousness. But anyways, if we get this to 50k, I will drop some coupon codes for you all, and we'll carry on. I'll drop some coupon codes so you can save some, some money. And we have worldwide. We have, this is powerful knowledge. Powerful knowledge. What do you think about the Golden Dawn? I have a friend, well, not a friend, but I know him through, he's an Instagram creator, and he went through the Golden Dawn system, and he is a very famous author now. You've probably heard of his stuff. It's called The Serpent Rising. He went through the order of the Golden Dawn, learned about Kundalini and stuff like that. Golden Dawn Society, yeah. How can I buy your book? There's no link in your bio. There should be. There's a link in my bio. Revivalofwisdom.com is the only place you get the Book of Symbolism in English, French, German, Italian, Spanish. Okay, so let's carry on, right? So we've broke this down. You now understand that we're going from squares to circles, which is going from the measurable to the immeasurable, changing the mind from a state of reaction, because this is, okay, the circle cannot be measured, but the square can be measured. So this is the material, this is the spiritual, this is the seen and the unseen. This is the cause, this is the effect. The cause, effect. What does the sun do? The sun causes effect on the earth. This is why there's a sun here. It's showing cause, effect. The sun produces changes in the plants and the nature on the earth, which means as above, so below. The cause is above, the effect is below. So this is talking how to change the inner dialogue of yourself, the inner voice, from a reaction mind to a demanding causal mind. Most people live in reaction mind, the square. They're reacting to the world outside of them, when the world outside of them is simply the effect. You cannot change it. It's already affected. It's already manifested. The only thing you can do to change the world is to change the cause. The inner world is the cause, the mind is the cause, the external world's the effect. The inner world is the cause, the external world is the effect. Most people have something bad outside them. I'm not perfect. I'm not saying I've reached the highest level of consciousness. I'm still working on myself, and I'll always say that. But most people are stuck in reaction consciousness, where their mind is just reacting in a state of complaining about the external world. When the mind is the cause. The cause, the mind needs to be a cause and a demand and a command. But that's fine. I was in that state. And I still catch myself now and then being in that state. But we have to train our minds to understand that the outside world is the effect and the internal world is the cause. And we need to raise that ladder towards the causes. Make the mind a powerhouse of control. A powerhouse of control. Okay? Awareness, yeah. Okay. Symbolism. The winding staircase. You can't see the room. Where is it taking you? This is talking about the upper room, climbing to a higher state of mind. But when you're down here, you can't see that room. You don't know what a higher consciousness is. You don't know, like right now, maybe there's some people in here, they don't even understand what even is a higher consciousness. You will never understand until you start to do the work on yourself, until you start to see what it's like to understand yourself. When you understand how you work, you know what to do in every situation. You have the tools to use in life. So this is about climbing the staircase of higher consciousness into the inner room that you can't see. Beyond the curtain. The curtain is the veil. This is about entering in yourself. Walking past these two pillars is about walking into the internal self. It's a journey inward. You have a self outside the mind, this body, and you have a self inside the mind, the inner being, the material and spiritual. That's why you're an individual. You have a dual nature, inner and outer. So when you're walking in between these pillars, you're walking, it's symbolic of walking in your mind, walking in a journey into the self. And we're working with the inner self. This is what Freemasonry is about. But it's a winding staircase, which means you can't see where this staircase is taking you. You don't know what a higher consciousness is, what it's like to be in a higher consciousness or a higher understanding of reality in the self. So you must have faith. Faith, not faith in a God, but faith that the staircase or this journey, this work you're doing on yourself is going to lead you somewhere. You must have willpower. It takes willpower to walk the stairs. You must have care. Faith, will, and care are the three forces that help expand the mind into higher levels of consciousness. So it takes faith, will, and care to walk this staircase, to walk this path, to do the work on the self, to master the self. And a spiral staircase also represents time. It takes time. Time moves in a spiral. Yesterday there was 12 o'clock, but today there's also 12 o'clock. But today is higher than yesterday. So it's just a continuous spiral upwards. Yesterday was 12 o'clock, today there's 12 o'clock, and we're just going to continue this spiral. This is time. It takes time to walk this staircase. It takes time to reach a higher consciousness. It takes faith, will, care, and time. It's not an overnight process. Okay? So I hope this understands, hopefully you people are taking this on. Darkness to light. This is a massive phrase in Freemasonry, from darkness to light. But what is the darkness? Darkness, you can't see. When the room is dark, your eyes can't see. Symbolizing ignorance. There are parts of yourself that are in darkness. You are not aware of these parts of yourself. Most people are not aware of their imagination and the powers of the imagination. That means it's in darkness. Darkness to light is about becoming conscious of the things inside you, the aspects of yourself that you may not be aware of. Exposing a light. If I turn on a light on something, you expose it. You see it clearly. So Freemasonry is about going within the self and finding the things that you are unaware of and becoming conscious and using them as tools to help you in life. Your imagination is a guiding force to shape your future. Your intuition is also a guiding force. This is the hammer, the Freemasonic hammer. Why do Freemasons use hammers? The hammer, the force. What is your hammer? What is the force that drives you? What is the force? What is the desire in you that makes you go through life? We all have a hammer. My hammer is to help as many people understand themselves as possible. That makes me take my actions. That's the force inside of me that takes action. The reason why I'm on this live is to take action to help people. That's my force. That's my hammer. You have to have a hammer in life. This is a tool. You have to have the hammer. Here's some more secrets. Force, form, very powerful. Not many people understand this one. But like, I could sit here all day and talk about all the different symbols in this, but there's many different symbols that you can go over. Force and form. Okay, so we have hit 50k, by the way. I did promise people earlier, we have hit 50k, that I would give out a coupon code. I did promise people. So I'm going to have to give that coupon code, and then we'll carry on with this, breaking this down for you. Okay? So let me know in the comments if you want a coupon code. Just say the word yes or something. And if I know people want it, then I'll give one out. If not, I'll just carry on. Okay. I'm going to give you a 20% code. In fact, no, I'm not going to give you 20%. I'm going to give you 30% off. Wait, let me just test something. I don't want this to mess up for you. I want to make sure it's working properly. Okay, 2 seconds. Let me just test the website to make sure the code works. I don't want to give it out and then people, don't end up working and then people start, So let me just test it. Okay. 2 seconds, people. You said 50%. I didn't say 50%. I said if we hit 50k likes, I will give a coupon code. And that's what we've hit, 50k likes. I can't give 50%, then that would be pointless. I wish I could, but it's literally, I'd probably lose money. I'm just testing the code out for you. We worship you. I don't want to be worshipped. Please don't worship me. I don't want to be worshipped. I really don't. I'm not here to be worshipped. I'm telling you the power within yourself. But I thank you for that comment. That's nice. It's nice of you to say that. Okay, so it is working. Okay, nice. So the code is working, and the code is, I'm not giving you 20%, I'm going to give you 30%. Do I have a pen? I can write it down for you. The code is
light. All caps. That's the code. All caps, capital letters. And you'll save yourself 30%. This is the brand new book of symbolism. You're going to save yourself 30% on the brand new book of symbolism. Is this where 607 Onk gets it from? I don't know. I've been around for a long time talking about this stuff. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know where he gets his information from. Force and Form. Here it is. Website name, revivalofwisdom.com. Revivalofwisdom.com, or the link in the bio. No book is going to help you, just meditate. You know, I used to think that exact same thing. But unfortunately, that is I used to think that, but then I realized my ego was keeping me back. The ego wants to say, I don't need anything. I don't need someone else to tell me anything. But then you have to come to a realization that there are people out there with knowledge way beyond what I knew. There are books out there that I need to read. There are people out there with knowledge way beyond mine. And you have to suffocate your ego and let go of that to actually grow. I used to think that exact way. But it depends what you want, you know. You don't have to go down this path. You can just meditate. That's completely fine. You know, it depends what you want, I guess, as well. So you are completely right. You are completely right. Is there a PDF? No PDF. Physical books only. You know, we ship worldwide. What's your fave part of the book? Oh, yeah, no one's ever asked me that. You know, that's a very good question. What is my favorite part of the book? I love this part. I love this part. How quick is delivery? Delivery, it depends where you are. UK is around 7 days. US, pretty sure it's about 7 days. It's a print on demand. So basically, an order will go through the website and then it'll go straight to my suppliers. They print it and then they ship it. And then they obviously send you emails with the tracking information and stuff like that. You know. But this is probably my favorite part. Is it UK based? It's not. So the suppliers that I have, they have printing warehouses all around the world. I'm pretty sure they have one in the US, one in the UK. So wherever you are in the world, wherever the order is going to, it goes to the correct warehouse, so it gets shipped in time. That's basically how everything's set up. Because I don't actually stock them all. I mean, I do have quite a lot here. I'll show you. I have quite a lot of them here. These are all Book of Symbolisms. This is what they look like. Explain everything about Freemasonry, pretty much. Everything you can imagine about Freemasonry. That's the first book. That's the second book. This is the brand new one. Which this is the one we're going over today, pretty much. They will be on Amazon in the next, I don't know, 2 weeks, 3 weeks maybe. How can we use the book to live a fulfilling life? That's pretty much, the book teaches you, it's a guide to higher consciousness. It helps you understand and unlock aspects of yourself that you never knew was there.
What are the 2 pillars in Freemasonry? Great question. So the first part of this book goes over that for a very long period of time. So the first whole section of the book goes over the Jachin and Boaz pillars, right? The different symbolism. So it basically represents the masculine and feminine forces of consciousness. But it ultimately represents division as well. The number 11 is a dividing number. It's left and right, right? It's left and right. So, have you experienced spiritual psychosis? No. If you met me in person, you would never even realize, because I don't talk about anything to anyone. People who know me don't even understand what I do. I don't talk about, I'm just a normal person. They probably think I'm asleep. Well, just a regular person who's not aware. But, I only talk about this stuff to people who ask me. To my family members, I'm just a regular person. But then obviously if they ask me about this, then I can tell them things. So yeah, in person you would never even know. I'm just a regular guy. I work throughout the day. I make videos. I work on my YouTube. I help my affiliates. I come on live. I help people. I speak to my university students. And then I go to the gym, see some family members, and, I'm just a regular person. But not regular in mindset. Me personally, I don't agree with, making everything your whole personality. That's fine if you do that. That's completely fine. We all have different ways of living and expressing ourselves. But, I don't find I don't want to make this my whole personality. I love to read books in my spare time. I watch a lot of, listen to a lot of audiobooks. I don't really listen to much music. Whenever I'm in the car, I put on an audiobook. And just by doing that alone, you'll gain a lot of information. Just type in Masonic books or esoteric books. You will find so much on YouTube. Just listen to everything, and over a period of time, you'll start to develop a pattern recognition, and you'll start to decipher your own truth. The Bully Slayer was cloned. I see some of his videos today. I don't know. I don't think he's being cloned. I think I don't know. He stayed off the internet for a while. He might have changed and stuff like that. But I love his stuff. How long did it take to change your reality to your desired reality? Good question. For me, it was, I wouldn't say got lucky, because I work very, very hard. I work at least 10 to 11 hours a day most days, but not recently, but before. But for me, there was not many people in this space talking about the things that I do at the time. So for me, it sped up very fast because of that. There's not many people who can give you this information I give you. Well, there's a lot of people who can give you this information, but they're not, well known or outspoken about it, respectively to them. And luckily, my stuff started to gain a lot of attention, and my life changed in a matter of a year. But, it can take longer. For years before that, I was trying many different things. Many, many different things. But whenever you preach about mind control, I realized I'm in a prison of my own thoughts. Yeah, a lot of people live in their own prison. Like I say, every day you wake up, you're either building your mind, you're either building your freedom of your mind or building the prison of your mind. Every day. You're either building your prison or your freedom. How long have you been on this path, Harry? Long since way before 2020. Way before 2020. I was talking about, I can't say the thing on here, but you know, the virus. I was talking about the virus way before 2020. And there may be some people in this live who watched my very first lives. I used to go live all the time.